I am on, and so are we. And we are playing Delta Green Viscid, continuing and perhaps finishing our run tonight. 66.6 repeating percent chance of this being the finale. We're talking about that at time. Which of the people might survive, or will we have like a full TPK? We already got two people who are dead. So two people have already died. So really, technically, I only need to kill three people tonight to have a TPK, I think, to kill the team. So we'll see. But yeah, we've been off for a little bit, and we'll get back into it. We're getting close. There's a lot of violence happening in the state of Montana right now, and surprisingly enough, the people you see on the screen are actually not responsible for it, which is completely different than the state of Washington, because the entire state of Washington is looking for them right now. Every single law enforcement agency, even school patrol kids are looking for them right now because of the nonsense that happened in the state of Washington.
No.
But yeah, it's fairly true. No, actually, it's in my notes, man. I see it right here. Everyone in Washington hates them.
That's okay.
We'll go from there. But Montana has been going great so far. But before we dive into the summary, why don't we reintroduce the homicidal maniacs that have been trying to save America, the Pacific Northwest, from whatever this thing is. So let's start with Mr. Brown. So Matt, tell us about Mr. Brown.
Yeah, Mr. Brown is a CIA operative. He has come on to the case partway through after there was a death and things started to get a little out of control. There was some concerns with this group, so they brought in a veteran of Delta Green to try and get things back under control. But that really hasn't happened, with shooting another team member and shooting police and everything else. It's like you said, the whole state of Washington wanting us. We're now hiding out elsewhere.
Yep. I like how the veteran Delta Green CIA agent comes in. He's like, what we should do? To quiet things down. Let's make it sound like there is a domestic terrorist organization that's operating.
Let's create mass hysteria.
It was already.
Let's just do that.
The wheels were already in motion. Stone was already talking about that to everybody. So it was to shift the focus off of like us and the things we were doing and onto a statewide search.
Sure, just consolidating the message.
Which ended up involving us.
Yes, it was all about there was no way to make it quiet. So then you've got to shift the news cycle over to terrorism from monsters.
Just get a bunch of white noise going, just flood the market. Yeah, there's
some solid psyops.
And then we started killing other people, and then
That's true.
That is true.
There's that. Yep. Yeah, that poor family's home that you blew up without clearing first. We'll never know who might have been upstairs and not in the basement.
Never know when they were on vacation.
How many people you killed.
Stone has accepted the fact that there was nobody in that house.
Yeah.
And he's comfortable with that.
Okay. Good. All right, let's go next over to another character who you were around in the beginning, sort of, but it wasn't player character back then. No, it was just sort of a brief appearance as an NPC, but then you took her over. So tell us about not Dr. Kane, Megan. Tell us.
Not Dr. Kane. So she's sort of like in charge of the investigation here in Montana, the crash and figuring out or containing the mess that's kind of landed here. Very serious and very nervous. Wants to know more about what's going on, but asshole Mr. Brown is not forthcoming with his information. So we'll see.
Little known fact, you guys don't know this because Matt hid this, but I have access to his character sheet. Mr. Brown's first name is actually Asshole. So
no, you weren't to tell anybody. No.
Yeah, Asshole Brown is his name. Yep.
Matt Brown.
Matt Brown. Oh, okay. I feel like there might be more infighting. This is great. Because right now I've killed as many characters as you all have killed characters. So we got to get a tiebreaker. Yeah, see what happens.
That's true. Yeah. I think I come out on top of this one.
Yeah. Well, tell us about Agent Stone, because you're up next, Aaron.
Agent Stone is a part of the Army Intelligence Support Activity. He's a covert operative, an intelligence interrogator. He was seconded to what he thought was a federal investigation of some sort, and then got drawn into this sideshow of monsters. And he's just looking for a clean exit strategy and the desire to go back to a nice, normal war somewhere.
Yeah. Yep. We never really got into, like, if we play Delta Green again, if that's a desire at some point down the line, we might dive into the division, some of the lore of Delta Green, program versus outlaw, stuff like that. We didn't really have enough space to do it here. But that's the other thing we never really got into. Like, are you guys part of the program? Are you part of like the sort of the federal oversight, or are you part of the outlaws, just kind of off wheeling and dealing, wheeling and dealing, doing all sorts of different things? Doesn't really matter right now for the events that's happening, but it's one of the things you could potentially get into as kind of a long running story. And I think you know that a little bit there, Aaron.
Yep.
All right, let's keep it going. Agent Ryder. Evan, tell us about Ryder.
Yeah, I think Agent Ryder is one of the most innocent characters in our group. I think he's actually killed pretty much nobody. I mean, you could talk about the alien girl thing, but that was, I mean, he really hasn't shot anybody in cold blood like some of the other people here. Hasn't shot a cop, went on a date to Applebee's. He's been a pretty just good Samaritan, a good guy. Caught in a bad situation with a bunch of chumps, you know? Yeah, but he is still hoping. It's only been a few days since his date, so I think 3 days is before you try and reach out. So he still has another day before he might send an emoji or something to, I don't remember her name, but I know Ryder does.
Wow. I think was that Dr. Benning? I think that was Dr. Benning.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's at this point, he's just really determined to find this giant man bear pig that can drive, that has eluded him for the past 24 hours, and wants to try and get rid of it, since he is pretty confident that that is what's causing all the chaos. And he could be completely wrong. Who knows?
Could be. You were sitting across from the man bear pig in that Applebee's. You ever think of that?
Know it.
Who knows?
Well, who knows? Love works in mysterious ways.
It does. It does. Poor Dr. Benny. Don't even remember her name. That's a shame. Maybe that explains some things. And then let's see. Finally, last but not least, the man who can roll a driving test to do about anything. You've got Rex Dart. Tell us about Rex Dart, Jeremy.
He's saying he can't unmute.
He can't unmute.
I guess we'll have to talk about Rex Dart.
Can you unmute him? Are you able to do that? I think you got the Zoom.
Let me see. Ask to unmute. I've asked him to unmute.
When you talk about Rex Dart, I mean, where do you start?
You got to go back to the 90s. I mean,
you do.
That's really where it all started.
1992, Nevada, little desert town, Endurance. He was a young kid, athlete, grew up in a broken home. Father didn't much care for him. Twin sister, two of them. It's just two of them, and they just had awful experience with some horrible meat monster, a traveling town that shifted through time, all those types of things. Angel of a twin sister. Yeah, Melissa actually played the sister. You might want to just try to rejoin.
Jeremy, just drop out and come back in.
Yeah, we'll just deal with it and keep talking about him. We'll keep filling. So, but yeah, Rex Dart, what a good guy, what a nice guy. All he's trying to do is just not hurt people. So why Jeremy's doing that? Why don't I just dive into sort of like this summary of where we're at? It's been a couple weeks since we played, so I'll kind of dive in, but we'll keep it relatively recent so as not to belabor the point a bit. So it is Thursday now. It is October 6th. It's year 2016. So this all started on a Monday. So we're almost through the week, which is very exciting. We are in Montana now, started in Washington. So it's 4 days into what's called Operation Malta. And this operation has been investigating, or at least the trigger point of this has been the death of a geneticist by the name of Dr. Tybalt Greaves, who lived in Mill Creek, Washington. That's where this all started. the course of that investigation kind of got derailed when Dr. Lucy Raleigh just flat out murdered a guy. Well, not in Rex, but eventually, you guys, it just things kind of snowballed out of control in Washington, and you had to get out of here. And so you followed up a lead in Montana, CDC Flight 191 Secure, which was carrying substances that were found in Dr. Tybalt Greaves's hidden lab in his garage. You decided to come investigate that. Now, Agent Stone and Brown were able to recruit sort of Roberta Kane of the CDC into the party. She is a Delta Green contact, and actually is the one who got all the ball rolling. In fact, she's the one who could have tipped off Delta Green to this issue from the very beginning. She was very effective, very efficient in her first appearance as she recovered the flight recorders from the downed plane. She got to examine a bear carcass that was bifurcated, kind of ripped in half and eaten, torn, absorbed by some kind of weird blue goo creature. And she also finally, after like 8 episodes, got to examine some freaking crows and got to actually look at these things that you guys have been carrying around in a Ziploc bag for like 4 days. They stink to high heaven. But you managed to finally take a look at them. You learned a couple of interesting things from doing this. You learned that UVB light affects the cells of this substance, this weird kind of alien substance, this blue goo, and that exposure to sunlight is likely what caused that dissolution and crystallization that we saw with Tybalt Greaves's body in the very beginning, but also with Rutledge's body when he died near a trailer park out behind the Greaves home. So in addition to that, you learned from the cockpit voice recorder that something broke free from the plane when the CDC was carrying those substances and attacked the pilots. And then there was like some strange spiral where the plane just kind of crashed down into the national forest. You learned that the crow's fingerprints, someone had the good idea to actually fingerprint the crow itself, because there were those 3 fingers that were sticking out the chest. Was connected to an Air Force, someone in the Air Force named Lieutenant Daniel Uli. But as you dug into that a little further, you realize he died in 1992, which is not now, which is like 24 years ago, in what was dubbed a training exercise. Stone did try to kind of dig into that a little bit further, but got waved off really quickly by his superiors. Don't ask too many questions, that type of thing, or at least maybe they didn't know, or you're not really sure. But that was definitely a touchy subject. Brown managed to connect with one of his DARPA contacts, a man by the name of Martin Frobisher, clearly fake name, who provided some heavily redacted files related to Greaves's time, because he worked for a significant portion of his life in DARPA. And of note was this unknown classification tier that all of you, and some of you are in very secretive organizations, have never heard of, called MAJIC, MAJIC. Third Floor Wars. Thank you very much for the raid. We're just getting underway. We're just going through a summary. We're going to be starting up. We're waiting for one of our players to reconnect. So that's why the screen's a little crazy. But thank you so much for the raid. Let's see. So yeah, we've got this unknown classification in these redacted files named MAJIC, and there was also a partial virology study of a virus that Kane was able to look into. Let's see, I'm getting a message from Key Cowboy. He's still rebooting. His computer is still rebooting. That's from Jeremy, so he's on his way. What else? Taking my time. Take your time. So he has all that time. Kane did learn, though, that the virus had no earthly origin. So there were chemical composition. There's nothing on Earth that aligned with this thing. Ryder and Dart were doing other things. They were elsewhere. They were following a series of attacks and disappearances all throughout Montana that seemed to have like kind of an eastward bearing. First, there was a photographer at the Travelers Rest State Park near Lolo. Then there was a camper at Flint Creek Campground who went missing, and the bathroom was like just filled with viscera and blood. And then there was an elderly couple at the Earth Angel Radon mine. You discovered that there's a vehicle missing from the second site that was crashed into the wilderness near the third site, near the radon mine, while you're kind of investigating. You also ran to the deputy who was running for sheriff, Gary Russell. And that almost was a very, very dicey situation on the highway. But luckily, Brown was able to bribe the deputy with a $10,000 campaign donation so that you guys didn't get your car searched, which had a ton of really powerful weapons in the trunk that could have gone really awkward. And then other than that, I think we had Stone and Brown and Kane, who are over at the University of Montana, doing all sorts of little odds and ends studies here and there. One other thing they were able to do is they got into the School of Environmental Studies. They were able to negotiate the use of 3 UVB lamps that were often used in various environmental projects, with the hope that that might have some impact on this creature that you're now hunting. So that's the summary. Fortunately, Jeremy's still not back. Do you want to just keep going, Matt? You want to just start up?
Yeah, let's go.
You get all.
Do you want to
get it all? Oh, okay,
I fixed it all. If you want to just, I don't know,
Sweet.
start with our characters and
we'll
Ryder
start
can
over.
just
We'll
wait.
start with. That sounds great. So actually, the first thing we're going to start off with, all of you have been up all night. So there are specific rules to this. All of you, go ahead and roll a d6.
Oh no.
Okay, I think 2's good. Normally
Lower
less
would be
is
better on
better.
this one.
Yeah, okay.
Lower would be good on this one.
It's too bad.
All right. Oh,
I think
get some
I'm-
music going.
What did I not roll? I must have rolled at the same time as other people.
Let's see. I've
I
got
think you
2
rolled
for
as
Ryder.
Rutledge.
Oh yeah, I did roll as Rutledge.
Yeah.
And you
And I
rolled 3
rolled-
times.
Yeah, I rolled
Fuck
3
Evans.
times.
The first one was a 3.
a
it looks
1,
like.
2, and a 3. Let's take that 1. No.
Let's do that 3 because I think that was
Oh,
the
yeah.
first one you
Okay.
rolled. Let's do
All
that
right.
one. Reduce
Oh.
your willpower by that amount.
Okay.
So staying
That's-
up late is, all night is basically exhaustion. The other thing is you're all going to get a minus 10% penalty on all tests until you get a night's rest. Now there are 2 ways that you can kind of avoid that. You can start taking some stimulants like chain smoke, stuff like that, which will get rid of that exhaustion penalty, that minus 10% penalty. But you can't do anything about the willpower. That's gone. But if and that only happens for about a D6 worth of hours. So if you wanted to start chain smoking or pop some caffeine pills, stuff like that, you can do that and get a couple hours worth of no penalty time. Okay, so let's kick it over then to the University of Montana, where it is early, it is dawn. You all have got your UVB lamps. You've got Stone, Brown, and Kane. You're coming out of the environmental studies lab. What do the 3 of you want to do? And Brown, you did manage to confirm with Ryder and with Dart that everything's okay. They took the bribe. They got let free. What do you want to do?
Stone pulls his rucksack off his back, pulls out his field medical kit, unzips it, pulls out a shot of B12 and injects it into himself. He's like, no time for a nap, unfortunately. All right, now that we're armed up with these UVB lamps, are we gonna go see if we can back up Ryder?
Are they any
And
good
Rex.
in the day?
It's light. It's concentrated coherent beam of light. It's going to have the same impact whether it's day or night. And if those things are out during the day, they're already going to get a significant concentration of UVB from the sunlight.
I hate to ask the stupid question, but who's Ryder and what thing?
Ryder's an associate. I think the thing is that's up to Brown to talk about. He's the expert here.
You'll know it when you see it. That's all you need to know. Do you have a firearm?
No. Why would I need a firearm?
Oh, you're going to need a firearm. Trust me.
I guess, but do you have one? I've never bought one. I've never handled one. I can. I'll use the light. I don't need to fire.
That might be a good idea.
I'll use the light as well. I'll take one of the lights. Yeah, let's find out where the others are and let's meet up with them.
Can we swing by and grab a coffee somewhere?
Sure, we can do that.
We've had good luck at Starbucks, so as you
No
guys
Starbucks.
as you guys leave, you find yourselves another Starbucks.
A local diner, nondescript diner.
Very near. It's called Starbucks. That's what it's called. Near University of Montana. I'm sure there's plenty of coffee places, no problem. It's early, but there's it's coffee, so yeah, you're able to fill up. If you want to essentially guzzle a bunch of coffee to try to avoid that, and if that's what you're doing with your B12 shot, you can go ahead and roll a D6. Once you think you've consumed the stimulants that you want, you roll a D6, and that's the amount of hours you have before it wears off. And so you can basically that's your reprieve.
Or guzzle some coffee.
Sure.
Ooh,
6 hours.
And if you want to do more hard drugs, we can do that too. There's really fun rolls for that as well.
No.
And then do you get back what you lost?
You don't get willpower back. You don't get willpower.
Oh,
that's the amount of.
Gotcha.
That's the window you have before all those stimulants wear off and you start
10.
taking a penalty again.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you get on the horn with Ryder, with Dart. Ryder, I presume you've kind of, are you willing to set up some sort of place to meet with them?
Yeah, and I don't quite remember what we were doing last we ended. I thought we were trying to look for some sort of evidence of a vehicle being driving weird, right? Is that
so? You heard that there was another vehicle theft from the Earth Angel mine. You know that there's some sort of abduction, some sort of violence. You never actually got to you got close to the crime scene, but there's too much activity, so you guys didn't go. But you did hear that there was a stolen Land Rover as well, and so you started around the highway, kind of searching for that, and that's what led to the issue with the deputies.
Yeah.
So you guys are just on the highway right now.
Okay, then I guess we would just keep looking out for that to see if there's any side roads that look like they would be, access into the woods or something like that. Since we saw it basically kind of run off the road and just went straight into the forest, so some kind of evidence of that, and then. As we're there, maybe we can find a rest stop to meet with the others.
Okay.
As we're doing that.
Okay, so you guys have been around the town of Basin, so you start heading kind of eastward a bit on the I-15, and eventually, along the way you see multiple paths. Some of them hiking trails, some of them hunting trails, some of them looks like service trails, things like that here and there, but. There's nothing that, as you pass them, there's nothing with your search and their, and Ryder's alert or Dart's alertness. There's nothing about that you think looks suspicious, and you're looking for something suspicious, right? But eventually, you can make it into Boulder and another small town, like highway town, essentially, and you could kind of set up a meet with the rest of them if you want at that point.
That sounds good.
Okay. So we'll say, just to fast forward a bit, half an hour later, 45 minutes, something like that, the crew gets together. We'll put it around 7:30 in the morning at this point. Find a diner or something like that nondescript diner that Matt was looking for in Boulder, and you guys have now reunited.
All right, this is like some. Wait, who's that?
I'm Roberta Kane. I believe we met briefly in Mill Creek.
Oh yeah, I remember you. Yeah, all right. Is kind of looks at the two of you. She cool? Can I? No, not cool. All right.
Yeah, she's cool. She's
all right.
Hey.
Careful what you say. So. Kane is the one who alerted the organization to what was happening here, but is not a full-fledged member yet.
Gotcha. All right. Let's just say we're looking for a missing vehicle. We found one earlier, went into the woods. We're looking for a second one somewhere in the woods. It left the scene. If you catch my drift, and
Wait, are you telling me that it was driving?
We're 99% sure that is the case. We found the first crashed vehicle into a cave. We were locked and loaded, so to speak, ready to do something, but turns out it something moved and found another vehicle. But as we can see, it's almost daytime, or is daytime, so might be a good time to start looking. We just aren't quite sure where it went. And then he'll kind of give like a detail of like the last where we were at the spa thing, the radon, whatever, and like kind of where we are now, and give some kind of just mapped some geographical description of where we think it might be.
Yep. Looks like we got a Jeremy back.
Yep.
Jeremy, I'm sorry to say, Dart was killed while you were gone. It's really strange. Ryder threw
now
him.
He can't hear.
Oh no! Oh, this poor guy. Can you hear?
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, thank God.
I pissed off a gremlin somewhere or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We got in a car
I'm very
accident.
sorry.
Yeah, they wanted you to drive, but you weren't here to drive, so Ryder did and just drove you right into a ditch.
That was a shame.
That happens. It's okay.
So you have so by the way, you have to roll a d6 for me when you get back into the game, as you guys have been up all night, so exhaustion's starting to take over. So roll a d6, lose that amount of willpower.
Ooh.
You're also going to have a minus 10% to all your rolls until you get some rest.
Or caffeine.
You can take some stimulants, caffeine, chain smoke, stuff like that. That will temporarily remove that if and when you want to.
All right.
And we just met up with the other guys, so we're all together now.
Oh, excellent.
And in a diner in Boulder.
And I've been explaining loosely what's happened because Dr. Kane's here.
Okay.
She's not a doctor. Don't
Oh
get
yeah,
that wrong.
yeah. Don't call her doctor.
All right, this damn lady's here. I don't know what does it say on your jacket? Does it just say Kane? Does it not say doctor in front of it?
This is Arcane.
All right, Arcane is here.
The letter R.
Is there like a
Not
D scratched
AR.
out? Did you just not?
Not like the Swamp Thing villain.
Yeah.
No. All right. So it's early in the morning still. It's past dawn. Sun is up. You guys are tired, but got your coffee going. What is it we want to do? What's the plan?
We're going monster hunting.
Yeah, I think Ryder's right. We got to track this thing down. If we can corner it during the daylight, we have a better chance of putting it down. And Kane, by the way, when I say it and thing, I mean a giant multi-limbed monster that rips people to shreds.
Or
FYI.
or rips bears in half.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bears for sure too.
But it assimilates chunks of it,
And I'm gonna push my plate of like half-eaten eggs away.
Are you're not gonna finish that?
You should probably eat it. Yeah,
I'm starving. No, you should eat. You need your energy.
You know what?
No, actually, you
all
should
yours.
eat it. You should eat it because she's probably gonna throw up, so it's gonna go to waste. So at least Dart, you'll probably keep it in.
That or die.
I skipped dinner last night. I'm so hungry.
So Ryder, did you get any kind of hit on this other vehicle? You have any idea where it's at? Any kind of
It's a Land Rover, but I tried to access the CCTV like we did with the first vehicle, but I was unable to get anything. All I know is it keeps heading east for some reason. That's the only progression we've got. And during the daytime, it hides somewhere completely dark. It had the truck closing the cave, so there could be no light for the most part coming in.
Where was the last location you tracked it?
Let me show you on my Google Maps.
So the last place is Basin, which is the I-15 is a highway that connects Butte to Helena, and then it goes even further north. So it's like a north-south running road, but there's like a eastern part of it. So the last place, like you assuming it's responsible for what happened at the Earth Angel mine, that was Basin, and then just west of that in this greenery area between that and where you found some roadkill, that is where you found the car. It was just like you said, just smashed into like this structure of rock to prevent sunlight.
Yeah.
And we're in Boulder now.
You're in Boulder. Yeah, you're continuing kind of up the I-15, and if you go up further, the I-15 you'll hit like towns like Clancy and a couple others, and then you'll eventually get to Helena. I don't have all the names of thing on here though.
Yeah.
So like,
Well, maybe we could dial into the state police radio frequency and see if anybody's reported aberrant driving from a Range Rover or has reported it off the road somewhere. If you said if it's gotta be undercover by daylight, that means it's ditched the car by now or it's driven it road by now.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's so weird. There's got to be a reason why it's doing what it's doing. Because if it just wanted to hide better, it could do it better than what it's doing. It could stay in the nature area, like within the park.
I mean, if
it just wanted.
Yeah, you're right, man. If it's smart enough to learn how to drive, it obviously got some kind of other purpose, whatever that is. But I still think we just got to track. We would track any kind of fugitive. You know, follow the clues, corner it, put it down, go take a nap.
I mean, it has to be somewhere out in the woods, right? Because it's trying to avoid people during the day, and at night that's when it's like eating or something. So
I don't know. I mean, it went that the other one went into that farmhouse during the day, killed that whole family, and then hunkered down in the basement. So I mean, it could be in a residential area.
We're right outside Boulder.
Yeah.
So let's try the police radio first. See if we can find anything.
Could you let me out? I have to go use the ladies' room.
Sure.
Okay, so off I go.
Can I hold on? Can I have your cell phone?
Oh yeah. By the way, Miss Kane.
I don't really trust you, Miss D Arcane, whatever it says on your damn coat. I mean, to be honest, we're talking about some a little bit above your pay grade stuff right now. And if you go, like, I'm just gonna give you an example, like another doctor we knew, she went into Starbucks and started talking about this bullshit, and you know what happened? She's no longer with us. So I'm just gonna, you can just give me your phone now before that happens to you.
He's making a good point, actually, Miss Kane.
I can give you like something, I don't know. I can send a message for you if you need to do that, you know, but I don't think you can leave us with your phone.
I'm gonna lean down so we're like this far apart. I'm gonna say, handlebars, fuck off. I'm the one who called. I'm the one who went to the plane crash and knows what this shit is. If I wanted to say something to somebody, I would have already. Cool your jets. I'm going pee. And off I go.
She's tough. I like her.
You just hear him like cock his pistol in his pants.
Oh my, what?
So on my way to the bathroom, I'm gonna call Joe, the park ranger, and I'm gonna ask her about if there's been any weird sightings or reports or anything that's come in through her office.
Okay. So when you say weird sighting, like, is there something specific or
Well, has there
define weird?
Has there been any like vehicular roadkill or strange sightings or any kind of weird wildlife reportage?
Okay. So yeah, you get Jill on the phone, and you just left her too, because I'm assuming you didn't bring her when you all left the university. So you haven't been. It's about an hour ago. She answers the phone. It's like, can't live without me, huh? And so she kind of clears her throat. But when you ask specifically about like kind of strange things, roadkill, that kind of stuff, she says, no, nothing. They seem to be all up in arms about whatever the hell's going down at that mine over there, that radon mine. Apparently some old lady got killed and some man's missing and something like that, but nothing to suggest that they're out in the park anywhere or in the forest, nothing like that. Maybe, but
No, that's
nothing. I mean, it's a Land Rover. Might have 4-wheel drive for all I know.
Well, here, you know, my dad always says there's no substitution for a good constitution. So I was thinking I should take in your lovely park. Do you have any? Are there any like good hiking bits or trails between here and Helena?
Where's
know,
here? Where? Yeah, I don't even know where you're at right now. Last I saw you at the university.
we're just we're just outside. Where are we?
Boulder.
Boulder.
You're in Boulder, yeah.
I tell her we're in Boulder.
I don't know. What do you tell her?
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate
So
it.
just north of Butte.
Just north of Butte.
Okay. Oh,
I-15.
she's like, oh. So she's like, oh, okay. So over by where that mine is. Okay. Yeah. Well, we got some nice mountain trails. We got, Haystack Mountain's pretty nice. This Crow Peak. That's a pretty good one too. I mean, I don't know, what do you rate it at? Like how good are you at this? I mean, some of these aren't, for your average run of the mill folk. Some of these things are, for people a little bit more intuitive.
I'm looking for more of something, that has a parking lot one can park at and can closely hike in. Like nothing too strenuous, but something, off the road.
Well, yeah, I mean, Anaconda Scenic Route's got some nice places, but that's behind you. A lot of folks like to drive around there and they park off here. And that's where that other attack was over that way with that girl that's missing.
And I don't want to go there. That's why I want to go north.
Well, I mean, you're getting kind of close to Helena, really. So, I mean, I can't think of anything in particular. There's that Arboretum. Right next to Jefferson City. That's a pretty nice place. You can kind of park and walk around. Just follow the 15 just before you get to Jefferson City. Oh, what the hell was that road? Oh, man, I can't remember. Tizer Lake Road. Yeah, right down there. Head east. Beautiful little place.
Oh, excellent. Well,
I don't know if they're open this early, though. It's pretty early. It might not open till 8 or 9 o'clock.
It's okay. Like last night was pretty eventful. I think I'll have a bit of a snooze in the car and a cup of joe. No pun intended. Have a
You're funny one. You're funny one. Okay. You get a little loopy when you don't get sleep. I like that.
Well, thank you, Joe.
You're welcome. Okay, yeah, she hangs up the phone.
And I'll go back and sit down.
The rest of you, what are we thinking?
Do we have a police scanner?
Do you have a police scanner? Ryder would probably be the one most likely to have. Would you have one, Ryder? Do you think you would be carrying one around?
I would say maybe you could roll luck or something if you want.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and roll luck?
What about your laptop? Could it pick up frequencies and listen in?
Hey, there you go. I got one.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you could also just go buy one too, probably. Okay. So you want to tap into local police? Okay, no problem. What's your? Oh, I gotta remember stats, like skills in this game. It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a hot minute.
You got a pretty high like computer science. This isn't really computer science though. This is more
Signal.
SIGINT. Yeah. What's your SIGINT?
I have a 50.
50 is plenty for this. You're just tuning a police scanner. This isn't the most complicated thing. Okay. So so is there something you're looking, what are you listening for?
I guess, chatter about the stolen vehicle. Like if they picked it up on CCTV going a certain direction, if they had it going a direction and then they didn't pick it up any further, maybe some indication that it had to have gone off road, at least from our interpretation, something like that.
Okay. You sit around, you listen for a bit. I mean, I'm not sure if you're in the restaurant or out in the car, but a lot of the chatter is mundane for the most part. A lot of it's stuff you're already aware of. But after about 45 minutes or so of listening, you do pick up one interesting bit of info that apparently there was a call placed shortly before dawn about a disturbance up in Clancy, where a row of bikes outside of a biker bar was knocked over by some kind of drunk driver, is how it's referred to. And they do in fact reference a Land Rover.
Ooh, where's Clancy? Is it? I don't know.
It's further north. It's
Okay,
maybe 20
towards
minutes
Helena?
from where you're at. Yep.
That's up past Boulder. Okay.
Get in the car. Let's go.
Yeah, and as we're doing this, and I guess she's on her phone call, Ryder will be like, "So, which one are we? Who's gonna kill her, or should I just take her to Applebee's or something and try and like distract her?"
She'll be fine. She's
Applebee's.
tough.
All right, I
Applebee's.
mean, all right. I was thinking she was into me. I know. Last time I took that other doctor out, she played hardball on me too, and I think it's just like I got that face, and just women, you know, they just get, you know.
Of course, I mean, where there's smoke,
Yeah.
there's fire.
That's
And
right. When this is all said and done, I'll make sure me and her Applebee's, Helena, it's set.
I pity you, but okay.
All right. Let's get in the car. Let's go.
All right. So you guys get in the car, you drive up.
I'll sit next to
Up.
Dr. Kane or
Okay.
Kane.
Caravan.
Dr.
up. You said
Kane.
you got two cars. You got two cars.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get a caravan up? Okay. So we're caravanning up.
But before
Up
we
20 minutes.
take off, I grab my shotgun and put it in the trunk of the car that I'm in.
Yeah, I think we only have
Okay.
3 anyway, so I guess it's just me.
Do we have any
Bart, and you.
handguns?
I've got one.
Yeah, I have
I-
one too.
Do we have any spare handguns?
No.
You can have mine.
All right. I will take your handgun.
I have bear spray. Bear spray in the light.
You're going to die.
You're going first.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
Send her in first.
So yeah, you head about 20 minutes up the road, still pretty early in the morning, no traffic. But you get off and you head into Clancy, and you're specifically sent. So what you heard was it was a kind of a bar and grill area, sort of intermixed within a partial suburb neighborhood. Chubby's Bar and Grill. And when you drive up, you notice first there's the bar itself, which you can see, and you would be familiar with this rider. There's this row of Harleys kind of up there, like they're up now, but you can look just from driving past. Like a few of them, they've suffered some damage. There's a couple people that are still around because there's a coffee shop like right sort of sharing the same parking lot. And there's also what looks like kind of an old school payphone. Not one of the booths, but there's like a old school like payphone set up near the coffee shop as well. What does everyone have for alertness or search? I'll take search. It's probably better.
Search
Oh,
or
curses.
search?
My search is 70.
Oh, there you go.
20.
24.
32.
32. Okay, so Stone, 70. You start noticing a few things. I mean, not only does it I mean, there's first of all there's tire marks all over, right? So someone was trying to turn around, like the drunken driver thing kind of makes sense. But you also notice that there's like this little what looks like a fire hydrant that's got some kind of scrape, like really bad scrape against it. You notice that the payphone itself is kind of tipped off to the side. There looks like there's like a whole mess load of tire tracks right near the payphone. One of the dumpster that's out behind the coffee shop has a huge dent in it. Someone was just like kind of bouncing off of these things, almost trying to make like a bad 3-point turn. But yeah, and you also notice with that roll that the bar and the coffee shop both have what look like crude, but they do have video cameras right over top of their entrances. And each of them are kind of staring in a different angle at this shared parking lot area.
So as I'm looking at the scene, can I determine what direction the vehicle left in? Like when I'm looking at the tracks or
just from driving by, probably not. But if you got out, maybe did like a forensics, that would probably be something a little bit more. So you get a little bit more precise detail. You can probably do a forensics test if you wanted to walk the scene.
Hey, Brown, let's pull over here. Obviously, this thing went through here like a pinball through a pinball machine. They also got CCTV, or they've got cameras at least hooked up to both these locations. We may be able to get some video off of it.
All right. Pull over and
Okay.
let's get out.
I mean, you can definitely tell that there's maybe about 10 to 12 people that are lingering. Some of them are coming and going from the coffee shop area. It seems to be a relatively popular place. But the bar certainly seems to shut down, despite the fact that there are these bikes set up. So you guys get out. Is everyone getting out? Kind of walking the scene?
I would probably see if I could try to connect into the CCTV. Like if I could see if I could try to like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Computer science it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking like basically it's a kind of, not through the internet, but like through proximity to see if I could.
Okay. So you're just going to kind of take a peek at what kind of hardware they might have and what you can potentially do to connect. Stone is walking the scene to try to get a feel for where the car might have gone. What about Brown? What about Dart? And what about
I want to
Keen?
accompany Stone and also kind of look over the scene.
Okay. Fair
And
enough.
I want to watch people specifically more so than the scene.
Okay. Fair enough. So what's your HUMINT?
Mine is 70.
Mine is
70.
80.
Okay. Oh wow, you guys are really good at this. Okay.
That's what he built. That's what he's built for.
Yeah. Okay. Then and then finally Kane and Dart. What are you two doing amongst all of this?
Kane's probably suffering through the most inane small talk from a well-meaning field agent.
No, I'm gonna go and I want to follow the tire tracks for sure.
Okay. All right. So human scores are high enough. If anybody wants to roll forensics to try to kind of situate things, try to figure out if they can like read the tea leaves of everything and hear a little bit more forcefully.
Ooh.
For those of you with really high humans, you notice there's a handful of folks that are kind of staring at you guys. Like just there's a few folks that are looking over there, and Ryder,
Civilians?
they look like your kind of people. You got
Hell
they
yeah.
got leather cuts on them. They got these are people. They ride, man, and they're looking at you, but they got like cups of coffee in their hand and stuff from this place right next door, and they're kind of just staring you guys down. A couple of them got a little dirty look on their eyes. Others. But yeah, you guys, especially I would say Brown and Stone, you see this pretty clearly. Okay, Kane, you're rolling forensics on just sort of tracking the tire. Okay, so one of the things you notice is it seems like from what you can tell, it seems like it came in from the east. And you can, from what you can tell, like it parked for a while. It looks like it maybe have parked for a while, like kind of next to this payphone. And then as it was trying to kind of back around, it might have been trying to navigate around traffic or something like that. That's when it started to pop off some of these other things here and there. And then it sped off. But specifically, it didn't go back the way it came. So it didn't head back east that you can see, at least not here, because east would take it back to the I-15. Instead, it kind of went westward along Clancy Street. Which would go further inward into like the neighborhood area here.
Ooh.
So I'll go. Ryder, you're in the car still? You're still.
Yeah, I'd probably be in the car trying to do it.
So I'll open the door and say, "Hey, handlebars. Looks like this car's headed into the residential part of Clancy. We shouldn't linger."
Oh, we should probably hurry. You see him like minimize something, and it was like Applebee's nearby. Yeah. We should.
Working on his dating profile.
Let me just go talk to the bikers like me real quick, and then we can hop. Go relay that to the others.
Do you mention to Ryder or anyone that it looks like the car stopped next to the payphone?
Yeah, I was about to ask the same.
Yeah, I'll let them know that it looks like the we'll make sure that you convey, and you may have to speak very slowly to Mr. Brown. The car came in, it stopped for a while near the phone booth, and then it looks like it stayed there for a little while. And the reason why I can tell that this is the interesting part is because there's a little pool of drive fluid on the pavement, and it would only be there if it was there for at least 10 minutes. I know this because my Aunt Gladys had this ridiculous car, but I'm regressing. And then after that, it looks like that's when it started to play ping pong around Clancy and headed off west into the residential bits of this fine metropolis.
So, how long ago was the person we're not supposed to talk about, apparently? Did he go away? Like, somebody from long enough ago that they would have used a payphone?
Well, if you're talking about the lieutenant, he disappeared in the early 90s.
Right?
Or was presumed dead, or pronounced dead in 92, I think.
So, if it parked at a payphone and it's somebody from the 90s, it might not hurt to check and see if there's any buttons pushed on that payphone.
Or see if you can ping the local telephone grid and see if you can trace any calls that was made from this payphone in the last couple of hours.
Yeah. Let me go talk to these jabronis, and we can do it in the car while we go to Clancy.
Jabronis. I'm gonna go with you to your jabronis.
Right.
Okay. So you go up to the jabronis. I'm not sure if they like. That's what the
I
cut
don't
is
call
on their
them
back.
that.
It says
That's
Sons of Jabroni.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Sons of Jabroni. As you kind of come up and they take a look at y'all, and like one of them's like, hey, you smell bacon? I smell some bacon. No, I just got oink 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 oink. Because they start just kind of looking at y'all, but then they stare at Ryder and like, well, you fish out of water, ain't you?
I mean, I got a different crew I run with. We're not from Montana, so to speak, but I gotta say, when a pretty bike gets scratched up, makes me a little upset.
You ride?
I wish I was right now, but I got this piece of shit. And he points out what
They look back and you have some like really basic like suburban sedan. Yeah, man, you're pretty hardcore over there, huh? Yeah. Okay, what's that? Is that 4 whole cylinders?
All right. I know you're just talking
Anti-lock
shit
brakes on that.
I got this
Safety
guy next to
doors.
me. Anyways,
Okay.
you got anything you know about what happened here? We're kind of looking into it, and the coffee shop made some kind of call, and like I said, when bikes get fucked up, I get a little offended.
Just a do-gooder, just driving past, huh?
Yeah, you got a problem with that?
I don't know, maybe. And kind of looks over at this point at like Brown and Stone. What did the two of you look like? Refresh our memory, Stone and Brown. Like, what do you
I'm
guys
wearing
look
brand
like?
new hiking gear. Straight off the rack. Remember, I bought it in whatever it was. Wherever we started.
You were at the
Still got the
REI,
tags hanging off of it.
Okay.
Stone's wearing, a pair of jeans. He's wearing combat boots, a short sleeve black polo shirt, sunglasses. He looks like a government agent. I mean, he's got, he's in the military. So, I mean, he's got that same haircut I've got.
Sure.
And he looks like he's quite happy to, and he's clearly got a weapon. I mean, he's got a light windbreaker over, but he's got a shoulder holster, and he's clearly armed.
So he takes a look at, he just get like the one who's speaking just kind of looks at you all. Eyes linger over Brown and just starts chuckling. Sees the tag, kind of stares at it for a bit. And then kind of settles over on Stone, kind of sizes you up, and you get the sense your human is high enough that where you're kind of getting the feeling like he's really sizing you up right now. After a bit, he seems.
I return the favor.
Yeah, he seems kind of sizing. Okay. Well, silly, the same thing we told those damn rent-a-cops or whatever the hell they are in their rinky-dink wagons. Good for nothing. Some drunk jabroni comes driving through here. bumps into our rides, nearly takes out that payphone. Damn thing, they were on that phone for like, I don't know, 10 minutes too. Must not like what they heard. Bumps into that one right over there. Smashes right into that there freaking dumpster right as we're getting ready to leave. And then drives the hell off, and he kind of points west. I think he hit like 2 or 3 garbage cans down that way too. But hey, I get there, they're probably not gonna do nothing. But hey, one of us did that, we'd be going to jail for 10, 15 years. This son of a bitch drives up in his fancy ass SUV and everything's fine. Probably one of these fellas here probably just bought all his hiking gear and such. Kind of pokes over and starts poking physically at Brown, kind of like hitting like the new clothes here and there, messing around with the tag, yanks one of the tags off. Like, oh, guess you can't return that one. Throws it to the ground.
He says, did you see what he looked like?
No, man, you see any lights here? I mean, he was a guy. I don't know, man.
This turns
Like,
to Ryder and says, we're wasting our time with these weekend warriors. Go back to suburbia in your soccer mom vans. And turns around and starts walking away.
And as you do,
These wild hogs.
Stone is.
You guys watch,
there.
by the way,
He's
as a bottle just gets thrown from one of the other guys. It's like, which is some sort of like morning juice bottle just gets thrown. I'm gonna go ahead and actually roll a die on that.
Oh yeah, hit him.
Take a point of damage.
As bottle
you
of juice?
A
glass
like a glass bottle
All right,
of some kind of juice from this coffee shop just smashes into the back of your head and falls to the ground. Go ahead, take a point of damage.
All right.
And someone just like oink oink.
He deserved that one.
Stone looks at Brown. He's like, that had to hurt. That looked pretty damn painful.
He doesn't turn around. He doesn't sell it. Just keeps going back to the
Okay.
car.
And then meanwhile the orange juice is just like flowing down his back. But it's a brand new windbreaker, so it's probably very, very nicely water resistant.
Stone gives a little 2-finger nod. He's chuckling the whole way back to the car.
Okay.
Ryder will hand a patch of his writing group to them. There you go, as a trying to, mend the bridge. I know, I don't know. That guy's a fucking loser, if you ask me.
Yeah, he is. Why
Sometimes you don't get to
pick.
pick who you work with, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean.
All right, good. Yeah, all right, okay. See you, sons of jabronis.
And as you're walking away, you just hear him say, "My boy calls himself an outlaw." They're just chuckling as you walk away. Okay. Did you also want to do something with the cameras, right? So you would know, taking a look at them, this is kind of an old setup, probably not wireless. You would probably need to get it. Probably either records or plays to a specific hub inside. So it's all you'd be able to tell.
I think we would I think we know enough. I mean, even if we can, we are pretty sure, even if it looks like a human or doesn't, whatever, this is what we're chasing after.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I think we just get in the car and
Yeah, I think your time would be better served trying to trace that phone call.
the phone call, see who is to
Who they called is probably where they're going.
exactly.
Okay.
I've been practicing using the light, like so that I'm proficient with it.
She's now blind
Okay.
in one eye.
Just right on dark.
How's
the whole
this thing
time.
work?
Now, see, now a UVB, that's invisible. You wouldn't even see the beam. And the worst thing you're going to do is burn the cornea of your eye. That feels like a sunburn on your eyeball. It sucks. But won't kill you. Won't blind you.
But if Dart is a reptile alien, he's probably getting a lot of nutrients right now.
That's
He's feeling
true.
really good about himself.
Or if all along he's a sentient meat person that we didn't know about. That might be
That's
different.
true. That's true. He does smell a little bit like pork. So, okay, so you want to try to tap into local
As we're
telephone
driving
grid.
there, yeah.
Okay. I think we can do a computer science or Sig Int would probably be the better one, but but you can take a computer science at -20 or a Sig Int flat.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone can also help on, anybody else that
Dude,
wants to roll those.
This is
you can
like
help as well.
the most impossible thing for me to roll. Computer science.
Poor son of a bitch.
Yeah,
I succeeded.
You're cursed.
Yeah.
Just cursed.
Yeah. So mostly it's just embarrassment because you just can't get things right. Probably Dart is driving as he usually does.
My
You're probably
Applebee's Google came up. Oh no.
Yeah. Applebee's. Then your dating profile comes up, and then you're trying to close it down, but you accidentally click on like a pop-up ad. Your whole computer kind of locks up, and Kane is sitting right next to you. And she just sort of reaches over, a couple quick taps of the button, and all of a sudden everything's kind of clear and fresh. And meanwhile, like Stone's on the other side, as the three of you are like in the back seat or something, and you're in between.
Why the fuck am I in the middle? This is so.
And Stone, you're able to kind of show him how to use the proper software as you try to kind of track things down. So if the three of you are doing that, I'll say then Dart and Brown. What are your searches? You can either, what are your searches? Actually, just tell me the number.
30,
20.
Okay, both of you can roll search plus 20.
Plus 20. Oh boy.
Yeah, you're not quite high enough on the flat. As you are basically just keeping your eyes peeled for any other signs of things.
Mr. Brown.
Sorry, trying to get it set up for the plus 20. Huh? How about that?
Yeah, both of us. Nice.
Okay. So, all right. So both of you, while they're in the back kind of doing whatever it is they're doing, you head west a little bit, you pass the postal service, a couple little houses here and there. You see multiple garbage cans, recycling cans. It seems to be trash day. That's kind of discarded all over the place, dense. You can see them like they've been knocked over. A couple mailboxes that are out on the road. Whoever was driving, there's constant swerving. At a certain point, when you get to Main Street, it does seem like that carnage, that kind of path, and it's not happening every single, but it's maybe every 100, 200 feet or so, starts to head north up Main Street. So you kind of hang a right, Dart, and kind of continue to follow the trail as best you can. Eventually, you pass by a couple churches and then a couple homes scattered here and there, seeing the same things every now and then. You do notice at one point, Dart, something similar to what you saw before, and you see that there is something on the side of the road within kind of a greenery area of the neighborhood as if it got hit. And you kind of see it's just sort of this pooled, probably relatively recent, like within the past several hours, pool of blood, kind of viscera. It looks like some kind of, maybe an animal is walking past, got hit, but it's not here anymore. And you can see like there's this big swipe. You're not sure what it is. It's not enough to tell, but you see it on the side of the road. But again, it's still kind of heading north on this side street. It's technically Main Street.
That's gross. It stopped for snacks.
So while that's happening, while you guys are driving in the back or in the other car, the rest are trying to triangulate this. You eventually do get a phone number. And doing kind of a reverse lookup online, all these different things that you can easily do, you eventually find an address. And the address is for... Actually, roll a luck test. Roll, any one of you can do it. I don't care. Just one person, though. Anybody who wants to be responsible.
There, success.
Okay. You're able to find two things. First, you find an address. The address is for Helena. It is 3570 Pelican Road, Helena, Montana. About a half an hour north. You can do a quick Google grid search. It's just north of Lake Helena. It's kind of a nice neighborhood. The other thing you get is a name. Isabella Uli, or Uli.
We heard that name before.
Yeah, that's
we
the
heard of Uli,
fingerprints.
yeah. Yep. Hey guys, we got a possible address. 3570 Pelican Road, Helena. And a name, Isabella Yuli. Possibly related to our missing, presumed dead Air Force lieutenant.
Oh, that'd make a lot of sense.
This is the fingers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. You got it.
I mean, yeah, if we're doing like some weird assumption that it's got some instinctive memory.
Back to your kid, or
Yeah.
wife,
Wife.
or whomever, mother, grandma.
Well,
Well,
if
know
we
where
seem
we're
to be
going.
going in that direction, let's.
Do we think going where we are, like if we were to keep going, it would take us to Helena? Like this
You guys
road
are
would get
on.
there?
You guys are on like a neighborhood service road. You know, you're not on the highway. If you
Mhm.
really wanted to get to Helena, you'd get back on the 15 and head north.
You would turn around. Okay.
Yeah, or you'd kind of go up to the next exit or something like that. So it's kind of up to you guys. If you guys wanted to get to Helena fast, like you would cut it, head east, and get onto the highway again. If you wanted to keep searching, then that's a little.
Yeah.
If-
And what time was the phone call at again? Like,
It would have been the AM. You're not exactly. Well, actually, you would be exactly sure because you tapped into the things, didn't you? There were 3 calls just before dawn, kind of in the 5 a.m. range. 3 calls. Each one of them. The first one lasted about 20 seconds. The second one lasted about 12, and the final one lasted like 3.
okay, and then it takes like 30 minutes from where we are to get to Helena,
Yeah, about a half an hour.
and that
Yeah, so
would
you-
okay.
Doing the math, you're not sure that they would have been able to make
Right,
it
to
all
make
the way
it.
there.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
interpreting. Yeah, it might have had to stop though. If we follow this neighborhood
Mhm.
path, we might find the car somewhere or parked in a house or
And it looks
something
like they hit
because
something.
exactly. I don't think they made it yet, which means we probably need to strike now because it's daytime. We have that to our advantage.
I agree.
But
You're right.
there's gonna be a lot of fucking noise if it's in this neighborhood, and that's gonna be a real big problem.
Well, let's see if we can find it first, and then we'll
Mhm.
cross that bridge when we come.
Yeah,
to
whether here or in Helena, there's gonna be a lot of noise. Let's
Mhm.
track it down here where it's resting.
Okay, so you guys continue to travel, and you continue on these kind of surface roads. Now, the good news, a couple bits of good news actually. Eventually, this main street leaves this suburban area. That's good news in the sense that hopefully it's not here, but it's bad news is that the things that you've been tracking, like the knocked over mailboxes, the knocked over trash cans, they're not popping up anymore. But because both of you succeeded, at a certain point, Brown, you do notice that kind of right on the passenger side of the road, of road, because Main Street goes to Cut Off Road, and it goes to Choke Cherry Lane, actual name of the street. Love it. You notice on the side of the road, there's like this big drop off, and you see these skid marks going off the road, and that's when, as you're looking, you're scanning, Brown, you see it. You see the vehicle. It's about 100, 200 feet off the side of the road to the east in what looks like a greenery area, and then there's this kind of copse of trees that seems to border that greenery area. It's not a very robust forest, but like it's thick, but it's not very large. This isn't like a park area. This is more, like you're still kind of in like a commercial, residential, industrial kind of area. There's still settlement here.
Okay, I'll point it out to the others,
Well,
and I will head in that direction.
Well, we should probably
Okay.
pull over a little indiscreetly.
Mm.
Not.
There's
not
no
right
cops or
there.
anything. Are there people kind of milling about this car, or is it
Yeah,
just
when you look up and down the street, there's like no one on this street. This is like a really empty street. I actually have a Google map. I'll bring you all over if you guys want. I just grabbed this way. You guys are looking. So you guys
this
have
is
been
country road sort of thing?
yep.
country
I'll say it.
road off to the west.
So
you
we're like
see kind
somewhere
of-
over here, or that's what the car
exactly.
is.
So
Okay.
so not even quite that north, but you can see like a little bit south. You can see
Okay.
that's where the kind of pull off is, and then down here in the greenery. You
Okay.
can see that the car
Ooh.
doors wide open. You can tell that it's suffered even from 150 feet away or so. You can tell it is, it's overcast and stuff today, but there's still plenty of light that you can
Yeah.
see. It's damaged.
Can we see through those woods to the west? Like, are we able to see what's on the other side of it, or are they so dense that from here we won't be able to see it? Or I guess we would have come up
To the west
I-15.
isn't dense at all. To the west, it's very
I'm sorry.
scattered.
I'm sorry. The
yeah.
east. I apologize. The car's to the east, right? That's towards
Okay.
those woods.
Yeah, like if you guys pop up your, Google Maps and things like that, you know that on the other side, you would see that on the other side there's like a fairly large like lumber company, like a post and pole and company. They kind of deal with literally making posts and poles and like reclaimed lumber and things like that. So there's a fairly large lumber yard there on the other side, and then just opposite of that is I-15. It's the highway.
We're going to Prickly Pear Creek.
Yep, time to lock and load in Dr. Kane, Mr. Kane, Roberta Kane, whatever the fuck Kane. You can, I guess, get your light out.
Are you?
I have been practicing.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you don't want to shoot a gun, right? So.
Well, I've got my bear spray and it's like in its holster on my pants.
Yes, I love a lady with some bear spray.
Are you familiar and comfortable with using a firearm?
I don't think we should give her one. She.
What do you mean? You shouldn't give-
Stone
we got 4 people with guns. Come on.
Stone is not paying attention to this conversation at all. You see him strapping on his body armor, getting his shotgun. He just wants to put this whole week behind him. So,
look, I have another. I'm going to be using this big beast here, like the ridiculous shotgun. I have another pistol. If you know what you're doing, I would love for you to have it. If you don't and you don't want it, that's fine too.
Well, I've never shot a gun before.
Nah, that's enough. Yep.
Then at that point, you are officially on light duty, which is probably important.
Absolutely. Now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna distribute the other 2 lamps. Who wants a light?
Mr. Brown should have one because he has a pistol.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a light. Now, do we have batteries for these lights? We did, didn't we? So we can use.
They're lithium batteries.
Okay,
So
good stuff. Yeah,
I will take the
a
last
light
one
with my
just to have it in case we need it.
Have it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Why is Jeff
In case
rolling
yours gets-
publicly? What's going on here?
broken or something.
I usually like to roll publicly. I often forget to switch it over, but sometimes I have to roll privately because there's. Like,
As we get locked and loaded and start making our way to the forest, I will pop out the drone and try and get an aerial and see if I can find some sort of cavern or something like I found before, since now we kind of have a general idea of what it's been doing. Just to see if I can find something that may maybe make this a little faster for us.
Okay. You can roll a search for that. Who else is doing something as you're getting off the road here?
Stone is, he's gone into full patrol mode. He's seeing sight on, searching and scanning the area, trying to look for tracks where this thing is, how it's broken through the trail.
Okay, tracks, survival, if you got it.
Yep.
I'm Googling the arboretum that Joe was talking about, figuring out when it's open, all that jazz. The surrounding.
It opens at 10. It opens to the public at 10, I should say. And that is, so that's in Jefferson City. We're just shy of Jefferson City, which is south. You guys passed it on your way up, so it's probably about 5 to 10 minutes on the highway south of where you're at.
Awesome. I just want to make it so that I'm very fluent in this location.
Okay. Good deal. All right. Survival test is good. Search is failure. Ryder, you don't notice any. There doesn't appear to be any kind of like rock formations like you saw in the other places. This does seem to be like area that has been slowly whittled down, but there is still this kind of very thick bramble of trees, but you don't see any kind of mountainous terrain hidden within this. It seems
like it's really thick, the canopy where a lot of light's not shining through though. Like I'm getting that kind of interpretation.
Towards the north side for sure. There's also a creek that runs kind of up the middle and kind of squirrels through it a little bit. And then Stone, you you starting with the car, you go up to the car. All right, you look for tracks first of all, and you can see that this thing has been effectively like ripped apart. When you look at the door, one of the doors is missing. You might have seen it. It's possible maybe Brown or something might have seen it along the way, but it's completely off. You can see that the upper portion, like the upper half of the car, has just been ripped apart. The struts, the metal struts, kind of keeping the undercarriage, all of it has been ripped. There's a crack completely in the belly of the car itself. It's as if, this has gone through a very serious car accident and somehow is still vaguely intact. And you look at it, and I would say you do in fact find very perplexing tracks that just don't make any sense. You're looking at drag marks, you're looking at what looks like barefoot prints, you're looking at weird streaks and strange pokes, and you're pretty sure this is it. Like this is whatever you're looking for is kind of what's here. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't correspond to any kind of animal or creature, but and it's heading east.
Hey team, we're clearly tracking the creature and it's heading east, so stay frosty, keep your eyes open, your head on a swivel.
Right.
So, Miss Kane, you ever partake in the Applebee's? As we're walking to the train.
Oh boy.
Well, you know what? The funny thing is that I kind of do.
That's so weird. So do I. Oh. There's a. I mean, I'm not from here, but I just did a quick search. There's actually one in Helena. It's kind of weird.
Well, I'll tell you what. If by chance we see the end of this day, we'll go have some chocolate lava cake.
That's a deal. You see him go into his phone and delete whatever he had from the other doctor and his notes about her calling her back and puts a new one with Dr. Kane. He quickly is just jumped ship.
Oh boy.
What is Brown doing throughout all this? I kind of got Brown, and I would say also Dart. Kind of want to get a feel for what you guys.
Brown is kind of following Stone, but keeping back. If we're heading east, he's kind of bringing up the rear and just kind of watching and scanning the whole area the whole time. Pistol drawn.
Okay. All right. Pistol drawn. So you're following the tracks. I'm assuming Stone's out front. Dart, where are you? That's the wrong music.
I would assume out towards the front as well. I'm not as good as tracking, but I'm probably playing lookout.
Right there with him. Okay, yeah, your alertness is pretty high, right?
80.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. The tracks lead you directly into that copse of trees. I'll ping kind of a general sort of feel where you're at. Initially, it's just kind of high grass and bush and vegetation, but eventually it kind of turns into trees themselves. But you can see that it takes you right eastward into it. As you're moving through the heavier underbrush, I would imagine Dart, maybe even, probably Dart, because he's the only one who survived that little encounter still. You got to be possibly thinking back to just behind the Tybalt Greaves home where Rutledge died, where you were getting potentially chased in this high grass, this tall grass, very much like that. Periodically you see something shuffle every now and then, you see some of the leaves and stuff here and there and some of the high grass. But Stone, you lead right up to this creek, not very large, not very, very far across, maybe 10 feet across or so here or there, not very deep, not very fast. But the tracks lead right to it. Along the way, you notice more than one, what looks like snack, to use Dart's term, and some of the residue remains. But you see that the tracks lead right up to this, and then you can pick them up on the other side.
Okay.
And as you look, you can see it goes right into that lumber yard.
I figured as much. It's in one of those warehouses. So Stone will hold up a fist, take a knee. I think it's in the lumber yard. We may have to go building by building. There may be people on site. This may be an ugly scene. So be prepared. If you need a minute, take it. And you see he pulls out the new burner phone that he got. He texts a quick number, a quick message to Annie, his only friend. It's just the broken heart emoji and probably goodbye. And then pulls the SIM card out, breaks the phone, throws it in the creek. He's like, I'm ready to move whenever you are.
Is there a way we can evacuate that business before we move in there?
If we do anything like
people,
and if we do anything like that, it may alert this creature that apparently has some level of intelligence that something is going on.
It's still fairly early, but I don't know. We'll see.
All right, let's hit it.
Do we have a specific warehouse?
We're not there yet, but we're just making an assumption at this point.
Yeah.
So Stone goes across the creek and continues to follow the tracks.
Okay. So you get across, there's a fence, but the fence is it's not like wireling fence. It's literally just wood fence, and you can pop over top of it. It's not like, vertical. It's more, there's a name for it. I can't think of the name right now, but you can easily overcome it. You do find what looks like kind of a break in it where the logs and stuff that are kind of being propped up have been knocked down, and it kind of disappears onto the lot itself. Now, looking around this very large lumber yard, you can see that there are tons and tons of stacks of lumber. Some of it's reclaimed, some of it looks to be new, some of it looks to be rough, but you can see them stacked up kind of pyramid style, and some of them are stacked quite high. We're talking 15, 20, 30 feet tall, casting shadows here and there. You also notice that the ground itself is gravel, dirt, and there's all sorts of tracks here now that's starting to making a little bit more difficult, because you're seeing what looks like tracks for like forklifts, tracks for vehicles. Looks like there's drag marks for where some of these cargo containers or things are being moved around. So everything's just a little bit more difficult to track. But one of the things you do notice, and I'm going to say this is Dart, you notice to the south a bit on the far southern end, strangely enough, you notice what looks like kind of a corral, like a little area for what you would know is for horses. And you can see that there is this large area, this open area, I'll ping it for you all, where there should kind of be probably horses moving about. You see little stables. You also see a truck that's got one of those traveling compartments for horses as well. It's kind of parked off to the side, but you don't see any horses.
It could be inside that trailer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, shall we?
Yeah. We'll heel toe it and expect the worst, hope for the best.
Okay.
Well, may I make a suggestion? Before we go in there and open doors and going all crazy and stuff, maybe we should shine some light on this situation. Maybe in through the windows or anything that, safely behind something.
I'm not sure anything in safe is going to be right in this scenario, but
yeah, I mean, we gotta get up close to it first. I'm just saying, let's try and approach as quietly as possible.
All right. Let's go up quiet, and if we have an opportunity to shine the light on, then hell, I'm all for.
Agreed.
Yeah, I guess we'll go towards the horse trailer, right? That's the most.
Okay. You start moving quietly over towards the horse trailer. You notice as you get close, first of all, the horse trailer no longer seems to be properly placed on its hitch. It seems to have been ripped off. And as you start moving slowly around the sides, you notice it's not the back that's actually open, but it's the other side that has been torn open. And you can see the metal of the trailer is like a banana peel reared back. And inside you see nothing but viscera. Everybody go ahead and make a sand test at that.
Where do we roll?
Roll
just
sand.
click sand. I got
just
it,
click
yeah.
on sand. Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay. Anybody fail? Looks like
yeah,
Like almost all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Stone failed.
This
We're too busy talking about Applebee's.
You guys,
Kane is fine.
you're literally seeing stuff that's dripping, like recent dripping, like within the last, like in like smooth, like slowly moving down the walls. You can see what look like once were horses, just sort of moving down. You see the big pools on the ground. Something was just utterly ripped apart and devoured here. Those of you who failed, the stench is unreal. Go ahead and take, oh my God, 4 points from violence. Remember, you can burn willpower to try to reduce that. So you can spend a D4's worth of willpower.
I'll do that.
To reduce it by the same number.
You lose that much willpower?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So basically Jeremy will lose 2, but he'll still take 2 points of sand loss. Okay.
And if you go to 0 willpower, you're like unconscious or something?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you just basically, you're knocked out. You go unconscious. Okay.
I'm gonna shine the light all over the inside of that trailer.
Yeah, you do. And you do see like there are these little droplets of blue here and there that as you kind of hold and keep it focused on it for a little bit, you do see that kind of crystallization begin to happen. It takes time though. It's not instantaneous. Like when you shine a light on it, you don't see like an immediate reaction, but as you hold onto it, over the course of like a minute or so, you start to see it break apart. Like it just cellularly decays. Like it gives you the idea, like I would say, Kane, you would probably piece together that like if the UVB is probably going to do anything, it's not going to be like you instantaneously incinerate when it touches it, but it might. And maybe if you speak a little bit with Dart, your observations when you were fighting the thing, you were seeing it heal and stitch itself up.
Maybe it'll at least stagger its healing.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to. Yeah.
Okay. You also notice that the cap has been ripped open, and there is no one left inside.
Man, this once again, Brown, if we survive to the end of this, make sure whoever the hell it is that you and Ryder work for lose my goddamn phone number. Let's check out the barn.
Good news is that it's very easy to check out the stable area here because the roof has collapsed inward and it seems to be tipped over onto the side as if someone drove a car through it. You don't see any signs of a car, but it is just utterly wrecked. Like a F-250 drove right through it.
So is this thing on the road again?
I don't.
Are we able to pick up the trail?
You don't see any tire tracks or anything nearby. It just seems like something just smashed.
This could be a metaphorical F-250.
Yeah, it could be a monster the size of a large pickup truck.
So it could be under the debris of this. Do we have phosphorus grenades that we could toss in there again?
I don't know how many we actually got versus how many.
How many did you use last time?
I know
how many did you use at the house?
I thought it was 2. Is that right?
2. Okay.
And I don't think we've ever used them since. I think me and Jeremy said we had them when we were trying to go hunt it, last night. But I don't think we never used it.
You almost got caught by the cops.
So you got 4 left.
Okay.
So you had 6 to begin with, minus 2 that you used. You got 4 left.
Do you want to pop one and toss it in there?
No.
I mean,
no. Verify first.
No, this whole area will go up.
Yeah.
It's a lumber yard and a forest. That white phosphorus will destroy this entire. We will turn Montana into Washington State. Let's be a little more certain.
Is there any locations or any points where we can try to get some elevation or something? Like, and if we were to lead it out of the barn, like we could have people, up above, people down below, because ideally I think we might just have to shine the light on it and then start
can
shooting.
We set up the lights and shine them in there?
Okay, so first, like you're fairly confident it's not in there because half of it's on the ground and crumbled.
Oh, okay,
and
so
you don't think anything's hiding in there. Like if it is, it's small. With
There's
Dart's
not a lot of
alertness,
barn left.
There's not a lot left. So that's the first thing. Secondly, elevation. The only things that you see that are of any elevation, there seems to be like a factory or a warehouse, like the larger buildings to the north that some of them are 2.5 stories high, kind of metal roofing, looks definitely like a mill or something like that. Those are the only things that have height. Okay. And then there's these pyramid stacks of lumber here and there. Well, but there's no like cliff or anything.
Gotcha.
Stone will start to do a spiral search pattern, see if he can find trail of it leaving this destroyed.
Okay.
Yeah, I can
Stable.
pop out the drone too to see if we can find some broken
Okay,
trees or other stuff.
Let's do another round of search roll for Ryder and survival for Stone. What are Brown, Dart, and Kane wanting to do here?
Oh man.
I hear it, but I don't see it.
I
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, I clicked a couple of
Oh,
times.
there it goes.
There it goes.
No, that was
Got a
weird.
failure on the search. Ryder, you just can't. You don't find anything. Like you find some. I mean, like there's some areas of the yard that are less organized than others, but there's nothing about it that suggests that it's just not just a disorganized section of the yard. Stone, you do manage to pick the trail up again for a little while. You do, as you kind of start spiraling around, you do notice that there is a huge swath of red alongside one of these pyramid stacks of wood. To the north a bit, looks like it's starting to go back into the warehouse a little bit. He maybe moved over here, got a little horse meat, and then started looking some more. Seems to pass by what looks like a small kind of mossy pond in the east. Doesn't seem to be anything disrupted over there though.
Okay. Big Stone will signal everybody. I picked up the trail again, and he'll continue to try to follow it up through the lumber yard.
Yeah, follow him.
Right.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to Dart, saying, you know, should I be doing anything? Like, I feel like I don't know. What do I do? We're gonna go into this building, and there's gonna be this thing, and what are we gonna do?
You're gonna do exactly what you've planned to do perfectly. You're gonna shine that light on it so that when we are doing our best to put it down, it doesn't heal itself right back up. And you're probably going to keep a few steps back. And I mean, just brace yourself for something really terrible. But thank you for being here.
Thank you for being a friend.
Can I stay behind you?
Please do.
All right.
I think I'm a little jealous.
Got ourselves a love triangle going.
Uh-oh.
All
God
right.
damn it! She's dead. She's going to
boy.
Applebee's with me.
He's going to Chili's with Dart. Oh boy.
So he's...
Okay.
Oh, man.
Right, all right. We'll give you one thing. It doesn't even require a roll. With your drone, you do notice a vehicle pulls in on the north side. The entrance to the lumberyard's to the north along Lump Gulch Road. These are real names. And there's your drone notices this truck, a heavy-duty truck, kind of drives in and pulls up to what looks like you would imagine it's kind of an office trailer, kind of to the northwest. It's right, if you're looking at the map, it's right where the name of the place is. It kind of parks in there. That's the only vehicle that you currently notice in that's active, but you do notice that there are 3 other vehicles that are parked in that same area.
And does the trail look to be leading towards either of those buildings?
It's going north for sure. Like, yeah,
Okay.
you're seeing it's for sure moving north. If you guys are kind of continuing to follow,
Yep.
you're passing by more and more of these stacks of lumber. You get to what looks like this fairly large sand pit, kind of where it looks like stuff's being poured out the side, like it's out the back of this mill. You do notice that there is I would say, again, this is probably Dart who sees this, is 80 alertness, probably catches it before anybody else. You notice that there is a fairly large opening in the back of that mill at a distance. You'd think, looking at it, it looks to be these fairly large kind of construction heavy doors. Vehicles can potentially pull in and out, but you can see it's open. From this distance, though, it looks to be a little bit off kilter.
Yeah, I mean, vehicles might pass through there, but that sheet metal looks bent.
Good eyes, Dart. I think we've got a target location. Stone heads up.
Yeah.
Okay. So Stone, Dart, is everyone sticking together?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Okay.
until we get up to the building. Then I want to hang at the door as they start to breach and enter, and just kind of watch from outside and get the lights ready.
Okay. You get up to the doors, and you do in fact notice that this thing has been wrenched open. It's not peeled away. It looks like it's just been sort of wrenched apart. It's off the track that it's supposed to be on the top, but the bottom's still kind of in place. So this heavy duty, this thing's got to be a couple 100 pounds worth of steel that's kind of hanging out towards you all. It almost looks like it's just a little bit further. It might have fallen down completely. Anybody with a high search number, so 40 or above,
Yep.
You notice that there is residue of blood on the sides, and you can see that the trail seems to go inside. Inside, you hear machinery is active.
Stone looks over at Dart. He's like, Sergeant Dart, it's been an honor. I'm not going to say this has been a pleasure, but it's been an honor to see you again.
That's mutual, sir. Now we're gonna make this. We're gonna make this.
Sure we are, kid. Sure we are. Stone moves in.
Yep.
Combat shotgun up. Ready to rock.
Brown, are you hanging back by the door?
Yeah, I'm hanging outside at the door, and I want to set up
Okay.
the lights. We got 3 lights. I'd like to get them set up at the door and ready.
Okay.
To shine on in.
So you're gonna want to try to do some kind of setup. Do you want people operating them, or do you just want to turn them on and have them on and like at all times?
Is Kane? Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have one? So I have one also. I'm gonna ask for Ryder to leave his here so we can prop it up and
Sure.
shine it in, and then the other 2 can be handheld and used as need be.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of like be like the triangle to the other 2. Like if they're in the front, I'll kind of make a triangle and be 20 feet back or something, kind of watching the rear and looking up and around, just seeing if we have no idea where this thing is.
Okay. All right. Why doesn't everyone go ahead and roll alertness as you go? And I think let's do an actual roll now as we're coming
The
in.
3 or
Very
everyone?
serious. Anybody who's going inside.
Gotcha.
3.
Oh, I'm not going inside.
And that's why I think you're gonna live.
That's why I think we're going to die.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Got a success from Stone, 59. Dart, 43. Failures from Keen and Ryder. But Keen, you're not going in. Ryder, you're kind of hanging back. So Dart and Stone are kind of taking point. But you're trailing. Okay. The 3 of you start moving inside. There are flickering lights here and there, but there doesn't appear to be a lot of sunlight coming in to the area. There's a few cutout windows. Some of them have to be opened. Some of them are, some of them aren't. There's a little bit of sun here and there, but in terms of the size of this mill warehouse area, it's enormous. It's a good 250 feet wide. It's maybe half again is, half or 250 feet like long, half again is wide. Ceilings go up. It looks like at least 30, 40 feet at the peak. You can see that there's like a couple different catwalks here and there. It's moving about this heavy duty industrial machinery, these huge mills and lathes here and there. You see what looks to be stacks of rough lumber that's waiting to be laid, kind of go through the lathes and some of the other machinery. And you can see there's other stuff that's already refined and stacked and ready to be forklifted out. You do see that there's off to the sides, especially on the second level, you can see there appears to be some kind of office area with a window kind of overlooking what looks like the grounds. And as you start moving through, you can hear what sounds.
One thing, as we were moving in, we would have between us the 4 remaining white phosphorus grenades.
Sure, no problem. Okay. All right. And you would know, looking about with all of this lumber, as you were saying before, and especially on this yard, using those, it could be very dangerous. Last resort type of thing. Sure, yeah. Okay. As you guys are moving through, You notice that on the ground, between what looks like these two very large industrial saws, there is a pool of blood. And this is right next to what looks like a control panel for one of these large saws. You don't see any evidence of what might have taken it, but it's literally just a big pool, no drag marks anywhere.
Do a full scan up, down.
Okay. So two of you kind of moving slightly in between, and you move and you notice that there's like a second one of these here and there. You're getting a sense there might have been 2 or 3 people in the warehouse, maybe setting stuff up, maybe getting some of the machines moving. And as you guys are leaning down and kind of looking or peering out to one side, you notice just ever so slightly too late, as tumbling down one of these stacks of lumber, you can see that they just start to fall and fall and fall on the two of you. Since you two are up front, I need both of you to go ahead and you can make like you can make dex times 5 as this tumble of logs just going to come down on you.
Well, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, if you've got athletics, I'll take athletics instead if you preferred that. If that would have been a better roll for you. Otherwise,
yeah. Athletics, well, potentially would be a better roll for me. Yeah.
Okay. Both of you go diving out of the way. And Dart, you're able to, with your critical success, not just dive out of the way, but keep your feet. Whereas Stone, I should say, you literally are just like tumbling and rolling and on the ground. And I mention that because as you kind of go and turn to look, you can see suddenly erupting from what looks like beneath or behind this stack of rough lumber is a massive 2,000-pound or so orb of arms and legs and mouths and eyes, an occasional face peering out here and there. Ryder, you were a little bit back, so you weren't impacted by it, but all of 3 of you can now see it, and all of you need to roll sand test. This is Dart. Gotta be 50 times the size of what you saw before. This thing is the size. This thing's bigger.
Oh, come on.
Llewellyn.
Go from crit success to crit failure.
99. That's a goal.
Yeah, this is the worst you could possibly do. Well, it was fun.
Yeah, it was nice knowing you, Llewellyn.
Llewellyn, you take 10 points of sanity.
Oh God.
There has to be something tied to
you can use your willpower, so you can still do that.
Okay, I guess I'll try.
It's a D4. You're still going to be, you're not going to be able to get below the temporary insanity threshold, but it can help. Okay. Then.
Please don't open fire on your teammates.
Stone.
Yeah.
Stone, you take 3. Okay. And then Ryder, you just take the 1 as you passed.
Take 1? Okay.
Yeah, you take the 1 as you passed. As this massive, just orb filled with these arms and legs that are growing, blending together, shifting into another, and it's time for combat. It's time. Let's do initiative first. So I got to get everyone's dex scores, because dex is actually the determining factor here. And
just dex, right?
Roll this thing, despite its size. I rolled a natty 1 on my stealth test to hide behind this big thing. It's crazy. Give me your dex. So
12.
Let's start with, say, 12. Anyone higher than 12?
14.
11.
I have 16.
12.
Oh my goodness. Kane's got 16. 12 is what? Stone. I think that's Stone and Dart. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. And then 11 is Brown. Okay. This particular thing will... Let me check its stats one more time. Okay. This thing will go last.
I would hope for 2,000 pounds that we can go before it.
Yeah. It's I basically treated its knocking over of this stuff as if it's like ambush essentially. So that'll be that. Okay. Let's start. So Kane is technically first. Kane, roll an alertness test.
You would have heard the logs being.
Yeah, that's what I'm
over.
saying. Like, yeah, and you could do the same thing, Brown. Both of you can roll alertness. Roll it with plus 20 because it is quiet. There's like, actually, no, it's not quiet. There's machines going. So just roll it normal. Yeah.
No, I failed. Ooh. Yikes.
As long as one of you passes it, we'll say you'll act in this round.
Brown got a 2.
I got a 2. I was trying to say, did you
Yeah,
hear
you
that?
hear.
We need to go in.
Okay.
They're in trouble.
Okay. And because of that, Kane, you can go. You're first. Now, to remind you again, combat in Delta Green, we go by dex score. There's not like separate move and action. It's just you get one action. That's it. Part of like an attack, though, if you're looking to move into attack, there's a little bit of movement baked into an attack here and there. But yeah, it's just sort of say what you want to do. If you're not even sure, like I do have a handout if you want to take a look at like specific actions that you could potentially take.
Nope.
But if not, just say what you want to do and we'll figure it out. So Kane, you're up.
I'm gonna grab the light on the stick and move forward.
Okay. So you grab that and you're running in.
Do you have your light and the extra light then?
Yep.
Okay.
Going in, guns blazing, just going in, dual wielding,
Lights
UVB
blazing.
lights.
Nice.
Okay. Got him. All right. Ryder, you are up next. You just saw this thing erupt. You saw Stone tumble to the ground. They both barely dodged, getting buried by these logs. You see that that Stone's on the ground still, but somehow Dart manages to keep his feet. What would you like to do, Ryder? We'll put you, you're about 20 feet from this thing.
Yeah. Does it look like it is looked at either of them as like the target, or is it just like this? It's not
massive,
really eyes.
it's a massive like protean amoeba-like thing with constantly shaping and reshaping arms, legs, eyes, mouths. It's hard to pinpoint where its face might be.
But I think he will just fire and try to like kite it. Like he'll fire and kind of take some steps back, maybe looking for some cover behind some sort of machine or something like that. Or even if there's like a big stack of logs that were nearby or that kind of got knocked down, try to.
Okay. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, you can do that. You take like as you're backing up, you're taking a shot and trying to like kind of get behind something nearby. It is a fairly tight quarters in this area, so that's probably okay.
Okay, I think I still have it's the rifle, very heavy, right? Is that what we're using before?
Yeah. I will say by the way, the cover is mostly useful against like ranged
Bullets.
Yeah, it's just what he would do naturally.
Yeah.
So.
No, for sure.
Ouch.
You fire at it, and like just the constantly shifting shapes, it's just so hard to kind of pinpoint where to hit at. Like you hit something and you think you're good, but then it just sort of blends with another arm and you're not even sure you did anything to it. So it's less about missing and more about maybe just not hitting the right portions. Stone and Dart, you guys are in the same initiative order, so whatever order you want to go in is fine with me.
Stone stands and says, "Lieutenant Yulee, stand down." But he opens fire because he does not think it's going to work.
Okay.
So let's see what we get here.
Hey.
I don't know why I didn't roll the damage, but let's see. There we go.
Nice.
So 9.
Okay.
Which I feel probably didn't do too much.
Okay. So, 1 second. Let me roll something. Okay. As you're watching this thing kind of move and shift around, and it's kind of, you think it's moving towards you. It's kind of hard to tell, but you see it just suddenly stops at the mention of Uli. It just stops rotating. Its arms stop blending and mixing together, and it just sort of stops. And then the gunfire happens, and you can see it's just sort of staring down. Dart, what do you like to do?
So I hate to rat myself out, but do I need to take some sort of terrible thing for my?
Yeah, that's right. You do.
In fairness,
Um,
you know,
Thank you. I had totally forgotten.
Insanity.
I was wondering the same
that
thing.
might flavor what I do.
So
wait, don't
temporary insanity in Delta Green occurs when you get 5 or more sand loss in a single roll, which you unfortunately did. So basically, for a short time, you can't control your actions, and you have to you instead start to panic.
Oh yeah.
Maybe memories of a meat monster come back to your brain or something. I'm not sure. So you get a choice here, and we can work this out. You either flee, which means you just kind of do what Raleigh did and just turn and run. And you run until you run out of con, basically. So whatever your con is, you just keep running and running until you're out. You can struggle, which means your agent lashes out randomly at the nearest threat, no matter how insurmountable it might be. But once this course is set upon, you have no choice but to fight until the target's killed, unconscious, or restrained.
It's the meat man, dude.
And then there's submit, which is just you shut down, you pass out from shock, kind of go catatonic, something like that. So usually it says that kind of helplessness, and so I don't know. What do you think Dart would do? What do you think?
I know if he kind of like loses his sense of logic and reason, I try and think of like what's a big dumb action that Llewellyn would do, and it would be to look for some of those big chains that you sometimes put onto logs to pull them into the blades, and while it pauses, try and like he's got this shotgun, but for whatever reason he's not really being logical. He wants to like latch those chains into this thing and see if he can find a way to get it pulled into the blades.
Okay. So you're just trying to like, okay.
I mean, shooting would be the smart thing to do. If we're getting past, he's not going to run.
I love the idea of like you just going like just primal on it, you know, like just kind of like literally meleeing the thing, like makes sense. The one thing that hang up I have is that the whole idea of like trapping it might be like too strategic. But if you're like just kind of,
what if there's a piece of lumber and just I just pick one up and I try and ram it with it.
I love it. Yeah, that I'm down with. And you pick up a random piece of lumber that's splintered off. You're cutting your hands and you're just swinging at it. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Caper toss.
Oh my god.
So roll your normal melee weapon attack.
This is such a bad idea. Where is it under?
Melee weapons.
Okay.
There's a.
Oh, there it is. Sorry.
Yeah, skill for it.
Yeah, we'll just treat it like a D6 if you're 6. Yeah, roll a D6.
Oh,
You're
roll a
just
D6.
wailing away at this thing.
D6 lumber damage.
It's called
Okay.
bludgeoning. It's like a cudgel.
And then an
or something.
extra
Oh.
2 on top of that because I'm
Okay.
strong.
Yeah, you're as good as the
Right.
rifle.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I hit it with lumber
Okay.
for 8 points of damage. It's ridiculous. Just completely loses his mind. No, not again.
Okay. Brown, stuff's going down.
Yeah. Stuff is going down. So I hear all of this. And Kane, I was going to grab the other light, but Kane's already grabbed the light and ran in there. So I'm going to run in, light in one hand. Like, how big is this light? How can I hold it in one hand and a pistol in the
Aaron,
other?
you knew more about it than I did. How big
Yeah,
is it?
it's like it would be like a large modular flashlight that you see with a bank of lights in front of it.
Okay.
So it's about 10, 12 pounds. It's one handed.
You can carry it with one hand. Yeah, you can carry it with one hand. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I want to do that. Charge with it one hand and my pistol in the other.
Okay. So I will say this, and I should go back to Kane and do this. As the two of you run in,
Yeah.
you both
Sanity.
catch sight of the thing.
Yep.
And so I need both of you to roll sanity.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Man, you
You
guys
both you
tight.
keep your stuff together. Like Kane. I mean, you saw a bear that was melting from blue goo. Both of you take a point of sand loss. Okay. So your turns are literally just to run in at this point. So now you're in the area. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Its turn. All you see is it just unmoving. It hasn't moved. It hasn't flinched. It hasn't done anything since Stone shouted out, "Uli, stand down." And we'll go back up to the top of the round, and it's Kane's turn.
Ram a phosphorus grenade into it.
No. I did it with beer spray. No. So I'm. So I. When I run in, do I make it there in one turn?
Yeah, like literally movement is you're moving a significant distance, and so at this point you're in the fight, and so if you just tell me what you want to do, and you're probably in a close enough place to do it.
I'm gonna aim the lights at it.
Okay. All right. You aim the lights at it. Okay. You don't see anything immediately, but yeah, you've got. But that's your turn. Your turn is your aiming. You don't got to roll anything. There's no roll that is required. You just aim the lights. No problem. Okay. Ryder, what do you want to do?
I think for now he's going to. I'm not going to do anything too hasty or desperate. He's just going to keep with the covering fire and keep it distracted. Keep trying to hurt it if he can.
Sure. Yeah. Roll that shot.
All right.
So technically, when there's someone in melee, you have to do called shot, but you're fine. You rolled a 10, which is good enough. Like the penalty from called shot is fine. So yeah.
And then we just click the damage lethality, right, Aaron? And then
just click damage. Yep. Lethality won't apply with this guy.
Yeah, because it's too big.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You this time you get past that outer shell of arms and you kind of get it into the flesh of it. Okay. Next up is Stone and Dart.
Stone is looking up at this thing. He's like, Lieutenant Ewley, Isabella would not want this. You need to stay put and let us take care of this. And then he shoots.
Such mixed messages. Yeah, go ahead and take the shot. And Dart, you're going to continue to wail.
I think so.
Yeah.
17 damage.
Nice.
Holy crap. That's a lot of damage.
We're back in it.
That's a lot of damage.
Nice. I'll try and swing again. Maybe I actually managed to stab it. Some of the lumber into it did so much damage, and right now I'm just trying to yank it around as much as possible, like trying to basically crank a big hole into its side.
Sure.
All right. Melee weapons. Here we go.
Nice.
Roll your d6 plus 2.
Yeah.
Dang. You guys are whooping this thing.
Nice.
8 more points than him.
Let's go.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh,
You suck it, you stupid meat. I hate you. I've always hated you. I never forgot you. You're not driving away from this.
I've been vegan for so long.
Stone's looking over there at Dart. He's like, all right. What? Okay.
Okay. So you mentioned you were kind of talking to it, Stone, and it had kind of stopped, hasn't been moving. It looked like almost strange, like the weird faces that occasionally appear in the orb. Almost looks like it's contemplating it. And then you mention Isabella. Oh, no. And you see like those half-formed faces just contort in like utter rage and anger. This thing just rolls forward like 2 or 3, like just a couple feet, intersperses itself between, I'll say, it's going to be, you're all kind of there. This thing's huge and it's going to hit all of you.
All of us?
It has like 100 arms and legs. As you can see, it just forms and just starts to attack and whirl around with this crazy frenzy of arms and legs. Okay. Everybody. Whoa. It actually, if there was one more person, I could actually attack 6 targets. So I'll attack Stone twice.
Okay. That's fair.
All right. Damage isn't going to be too bad. Everybody roll a d4. Take that amount of damage.
Woo. Does armor have any effect on?
Oh yeah.
Yes. So if you said that you put on gear, you can deplete that amount from that armor.
How much is our
armor?
Whatever your
5. Armor rating is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so subtract that number from there.
Ooh, I'll do that.
All right, I'm
Okay.
okay.
Did anybody fully deplete their armor, or was anybody not wearing armor?
I
Those
did
two
not.
wouldn't
I'm not
be.
wearing armor.
I'm
Kane
not
and I
wearing-
are.
Both of you roll a d10.
plus our
no.
D4.
Yeah.
Aw.
I'm done.
Ooh.
Oh God.
Oh no!
No.
Oh.
10 damage.
Not the hot dog bun.
Woo.
As this thing just rolls forward into the midst of all of you, like scattered around, it's bending around corners. It's this protean shape. All of its arms just extend outward and just start smashing and ripping. And you watch as one of the arms just slashes clear down into Brown, grabs him, and instead of like lifting and like throwing him, it just picks him up. And you watch as the arm itself just sort of changes color and shape as it rips through his clothing, and the skin just starts to absorb. And now there's one arm kind of flailing around with a Brown that is now being absorbed into the creature. All of you roll sand. This is the end, by the way. This we're finishing. I'm sorry, we're a couple of minutes over, but we're almost done.
Finally survived. Made one.
Come on.
Wow! Oh, everyone but well, Dart's already
Oh,
crazy.
God.
Can you
I
get
mean, I'm
multiple-
already crazy.
Yeah,
It's-
can you even get multiple crazy?
I think
guess
if he does it again, we'll say he picks something other than struggle. As we'll say, okay. How many of you failed?
Just start.
Just me. I mean, I'm all in, all crazy.
Okay. All right.
I'm hitting this
Uh,
thing with a piece of lumber. I'm clearly gone.
Oh, Dart, poor Dart. Go ahead and roll d6. I would say
Okay.
violent supernatural effect probably makes sense.
Did we just lose one for?
Yeah, I think you guys are going to lose one at the ripping apart of your cool as a cucumber CIA agent. 2 more points.
Man, Matt, 2 insta kills.
We'll go to the top of the round. However, Kane, you've been shining the light in this thing, and you've been seeing these bullet wounds explode here and there. You notice that they're not restitching, and that these goops of like this blue jelly continue to sort of ooze out of some of these wounds. What would you like to do, Kane?
Just going to is the light shining at these wounds?
If you're pointing at it, you're the only one I think who has. I think you have them both, and you're just pointing them both out there. The other one went like scattering to the side as Brown got lifted up and turned into the monster. So yeah, you have the 2. You can continue as your turn if you just want to keep pointing them at them. That's fine. If you have something you want to shout, or you can do that too. But
Yeah,
it's up to you.
I'm gonna make sure that these bad boys are pointed towards the wounds for sure, and then just gonna take Stone's lead and say, Lieutenant Yulee, stop.
Okay. You notice that this time it doesn't stop. It keeps going. Yeah.
Oh no!
You're on the right track. You said the right thing, and then you said the wrong thing. Okay, Ryder, it's your turn.
All right, Ryder is going to dash over to put his body in front of Dr. Kane's, and as before he goes to aim his shotgun, he's going to, as she's like shining the lights, he's going to slip in to like her pocket a little Applebee gift card, and you can see on the back it says "From Ryder to Kane" with like a little smiley face, and then he's gonna like interpose himself and then fire.
Are you gonna shoot at Dart to take your competition out, or are you gonna shoot at the monster?
At the monster.
All right, there's a minus 20. There's a minus 20 to this because there's somebody. Yeah.
Don't worry, Dart's
There's a
gonna
couple
take himself
people
out.
and technically are there.
Dang.
You fire. Unfortunately, you're trying not to shoot what now, like there's multiple, you're all kind of right up in this thing. It's so big, it just takes up so much space. And you just can't quite get past it. Stone and Dart.
I've got a really dumb idea. I'll let Stone go first.
All right. Stone tries to back up, give himself a little bit of space, and then opens up with the
Sure,
full shotgun.
Take a couple steps back. You're not doing a full move.
Nice.
Okay, roll damage.
Ooh, Ooh.
Oh my
17.
God. Dear God, as you just a huge chunk of it just flies free from it. Dart, you're on the same initiative. What do you do?
So I know that the grenades are supposed to be last resort, but I've doubled down on sanity loss.
Oh,
And
totally use it.
I just spent the last round just wrenching that gaping wound into the side. I'm
Yeah.
going to toss the grenade in there and then put the lumber onto it and smack the lumber into it, almost like I'm pushing the grenade further and further into its body.
Okay. Roll unarmed, I think. In
Okay.
this case, it's going to be unarmed. To try to
right.
shove this thing inside of it.
This is a good idea.
This is a very good idea.
Ooh.
Nice.
You shove this grenade inside, and then you kind of stumble nearby. You're right up on it. You're insane. You're crazy right now. And
Yes.
so your arm is like in there and pull it out. It's soaked in goo. I need you to roll a D10.
Okay, that's fair.
Got armor. Oh, nice.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Take it off your armor first.
Okay, I still have armor.
Okay, so you've got sleeves on, you got gloves on. You pull it out, and you see the glove is just completely disintegrating from the blue blood. Then it comes around to the thing's turn, and it's got this gaping hole that Stone just put in it. It's got this smaller hole now, and then as it's beginning to swoop down at all of you, it explodes from the inside out. I'm gonna need. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Ryder and Dart. Roll Dex times 5. Ryder, you interspersed yourself between Kane, so I'll say Kane. You're protecting Kane. Stone, you specifically said you backed up. The other two. Okay.
Dex times 5. Oh shit, I wish it was athletics. That's okay. Got this.
Okay.
Nice.
So Aaron, what would you say would be a fair dice value for like an initial? I know these things kind of have a burn quality to them as opposed to like a huge explosion, but since it was interior, we're gonna say it's kind of like a ripping out. But
I would say it's probably like a 20% lethality.
Okay. Ryder, roll a D100. Do not roll under 20.
I have armor.
It's not gonna matter in this
Yeah.
case.
Woo, that
You're
did.
okay. Your armor just disintegrates on your chest, but like you get blown backwards. You stumble into Kane. The two of you go falling down.
Oh, fuck my mustache.
The creature appears dead. However, the warehouse is now caught on fire as the phosphorus is leaping to all these stacks of lumber all over the place. What do you guys do?
I am picking
Move
up
out.
Kane and running out.
Yeah.
We need to
Okay.
find a vehicle and drive.
Do you do anything to try to get Brown's body back, which is
No.
still like the
I
fist
don't
of
think
one of these?
anyone cares
it's
about
gonna-
Brown.
It's going to be turned to ash.
Oh,
I mean,
Aw.
it'll turn to ash by the the Willie Pete's going to come.
okay.
We would have seconds to get out of there. I mean, it's
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So all of you just turn and you run, and within the next few minutes, this whole thing goes down. What do you guys do? We'll do this fast because we'll get to the end and we'll kind of epilogue this. But you beat this thing. It's destroyed.
Stone
I
It's
pulls,
burning
imagine-
down. Yeah.
Stone pulls out his last burner phone, texts Annie one word, home, destroys it, pulls out his identification, burns it, turns back to everybody, says, Deacon Stone never existed. Have a
Okay.
nice day. He turns, goes to gets a vehicle and leaves.
Oh yeah, so just like you just break
Yeah.
you just break into one of these vehicles
Yep.
here and just get into and leave. While like the lumberyard, it's cascading
Oh, yeah.
now. It's
Yeah,
jumping
yeah,
all
yeah.
over the place.
We
This
just gotta go.
whole- Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's assuming
Everyone just-
that somebody in that front office has probably already called 911.
More than likely. Yeah. I mean, there was gunfire. It's possible that rang out. Who knows? It's kind of a distance. It's possible. Okay. Does anybody do anything else before they leave the lumberyard?
Just gone.
Okay.
I would maybe send a text to our handler saying, "Case closed, massive fire at this location. Send
Brown
help."
dead.
Brown's dead.
Okay.
Don't really
All right.
care.
Okay. So you scatter,
I'm
get out
gonna
of there.
I'm gonna invite Ryder to come and take in an arboretum with me.
Sure. As long as we get away from this place
Okay.
that's on fire.
So we'll say you guys scatter, you get to the various vehicles, maybe you run and get your own, maybe you do like Stone did and break into one of these others. I'm not gonna make a roll. And you flee the scene as fast as you can. There's multiple dead bodies. There's this massive creature that's burning down from the phosphorus grenade, right? And you're confident, Kane, that this UVB stopped its healing, stopped its properties, and allowed the damage to kind of stay through. So you kind of send the text in to your handler. You kind of get like a 10-4 verification back. At that point, as far as you guys are aware, target done, right? So what do each of you then do? Like assume like mission done, right? Operation over. You've taken this thing out. What do each of you do?
You'd see about 2 weeks later, the screen would come up and you'd see Stone, or under his real name, or at least a different name, in Saigon, sitting in a little bar with his only real friend, Annie. And he turns to her, he said, "Listen, I need us to find out who those people really are, because whatever the hell that shit was, I don't ever want to deal with it again. We can't go through normal channels." She turns to him and she goes, "Yes, sir, Colonel. We'll get to the bottom of it."
Okay. Who else? Your character epilogue. What do you do once the operation's over?
I mean, we're going to Applebee's.
We are
Getting that lava cake.
Yeah, we are going to mourn
that
my
lava cake.
handlebar mustache, so that got burnt off
Okay.
because.
All right.
That's okay. I like you better this way anyway.
Oh,
Do you-
God.
Do you guys go and like get changed, or you just go with like the alien?
I imagine we go with like our alien gear, like we're burnt to singe. We're just like, fuck it.
Okay.
Maybe we
All
do
right.
like a Applebee's 50 states tour. We've now done Montana, so we can skip. We don't have
Yeah,
to go back.
You're good here. Okay. And what about Dart, Jeremy?
I think Dart finally replies back to his sister. Basically lets her know if she's willing to help him with it, he'll try and catch up with his dad, let his dad know that the ship sailed on him being a father, but he'll try and give Eddie's grandfather a chance. And he just wants to go home and be with family. He's probably going to try and quit Delta Green, but they may not let him.
Nope. No, sir. Okay. So then we kind of go through each one of those little bits and pieces. And if you'll indulge me for a moment, sorry, Matt, we're almost done. I figure we're so close. Let's just finish. If you'll just indulge me for a moment as we do. I've had this vision in my head of like the Goodfellas scene, like where like the Loop House like mission where we just kind of get the montage of all of like the bodies. And so that's what kind of happens as we'll try to tie this up a little bit with all of like the different threads and bits and pieces, as the first thing we see as a part of our montage is like a medical examiner slab. We see the body of a woman, unrecognizable, sheet over top, some kind of trauma to the head, and we see the tray kind of get slid into a morgue cabinet. And right as the door closes, we see like on the toe tag, L. Raleigh. As it closes down, fades to black, kicks back up. We're like somewhere outside of Seattle. We're like off a road. We see like this greenery area, this gulch. Camera kind of tracks down it a little bit, and we see like a single car, a lime green 2010 Volkswagen Beetle. Except it's not lime green much anymore, as it appears to have recently suffered significant damage in fire as it's just scorched. Camera kind of moves inside and we see 2 bodies in the front seat, both of them just charred, unrecognizable. And as the camera kind of shifts down, we see in the grass right next to it 2 Swedish Medical Center ID tags that miraculously are utterly unharmed. One of them reads Duncan Raleigh. The other reads Ian Martin, his lab assistant. Kind of fade, come back up again. This time we're at the Swedish Medical Center as the camera's kind of sweeping over, but then it turns around. And it seems there's some kind of like slow motion commotion, it's commotion going on the street. We see fire trucks, we see ambulances, we see cop cars, as there's a massive fire in this Starbucks just across the street from the hospital. We see like they're trying to put it out, but it's just not happening. We go through a series of quick cuts and we follow a couple firefighters through the blackened rubble. And we see them trying to pry open what looks like the remains of some kind of walk-in cooler. They pop it open and a body, like asphyxiated, falls out. And like as it rolls over, we see like the bloated face of the barista that let Raleigh use the phone.
Poor girl.
We cut once more, and this time we see like the back of a chair. We see a guy's head, and we see the TV's kind of on. It's a disheveled, horrible apartment. We kind of zoom around, and we can see there's drug paraphernalia everywhere. There's like all sorts of, there's lines of coke. There's all sorts of syringes, and we zoom in on like this face of a person none of you actually spoke with, but you saw numerous times on the television. Ernesto Torres, Seattle Times delivery driver, first person on the scene, never had a history of drug abuse, but yet here he is, OD'd in his own room after really laying into his 15 minutes of fame. We cut once more, we come to a hospital hallway. We see Ted Belton, private investigator that you saw an image of on his online profile, kind of dozing off, but then a woman walks by carrying this large vase of like yellow flowers. They share this kind of like flirtatious smile. He gives her a nod. She goes into this room and you see the body of Evelyn Wells laying in a bed. She's bandaged up but alive, like all sorts of IVs and machines are hooked up. The flower delivery woman, she sets the vase down kind of on the other side of the bed, kind of obscured for a minute. She's fiddling with something. Camera moves around and we see she's injecting something into one of the IVs of Evelyn Wells. We get a series of quick cuts as she leaves the room, shares another flirtatious smile with Belton, who seems unaware. She walks down the hallway, waves to a nursing station, gets onto the elevator. The elevator starts to close right as like the sound of a code rings, and you can see all the nurses start running down the hallway. That elevator opens up again. We see the same woman walking out into the first floor of the hospital. She casually throws something in the trash, steps outside, sunlight hits her face, puts on sunglasses, moves up to the curb. Right as a gray sedan pulls up, perfect timing. She opens the back seat, slides in. There's 2 men out front, both with dark sunglasses, completely unrecognizable. But in the back seat with her is a high-powered rifle that's just kind of sitting there on the ground as they drive away. Once more, we see the office, looks like, of just in a suburban neighborhood. We see a buzzing of a vibrating phone, and the phone, it looks like the contact, Brown, pops up. And you see a conversation, a text conversation between someone named Brown and Frobisher over and over, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And there's a body right next to it, head slumped down, kind of turned to the right, not moving, not breathing. And we zoom back outside, and a similar gray sedan just starts rolling past those 3 people sitting in the gray sedan as it drives off into the distance, as a fire begins to erupt in that same home behind. We cut once more to a very familiar location for Stone, as we see the cold storage of the Snohomish Medical Examiner's office. That absolutely impenetrable door that still has the police tape on it, having not been opened until now, except it's not being opened from the outside. The handle moves and we see the tape kind of rip away, and out from inside of the cold storage, the weird, twitchy, moving body, blue in tint, of Amanda Griffin girlfriend to
Damn
Tybalt Green,
it!
steps out into the hallway, hangs a right, and goes out into the night air. She wanders down the greenery a bit to what looks like a service road where there's a black and white vehicle ready. Camera shifts inside that vehicle, and we see the familiar face of Officer Eugene Brown. He's got his phone out. He's flipping through it. He's sipping on what looks like a Burger King, a Burger King soda, and he's reading through the steps it takes to apply to Quantico when a hand reaches in and just covers his face, his mouth, and begins to blend with it. Cut a second or two later, and the car is just driving away. We cut once more. We see the deputy Gary Russell, who Ryder and Dart met on the highway. Brown bribes. We see him watch an old woman get zipped up, an old dead woman get zipped up in a body bag just before dawn. As the Earth Angel Radon Mine sign is up right behind. We see it get loaded onto a vehicle, unloaded. We see it wheeled through the halls of what looks like the Missoula County Medical Examiner's office. We see it wheeled into cold storage once again. And right as the assistant's closing the door, we can see, but they can't, the body bag begins to twitch. We cut once more. We see the agent. We see a little baby boy playing around on a rug. We see all sorts of wooden blocks nearby. We see this plastic keys that are kind of dangling in front of him. He's got this big bright face. Camera kind of moves around. And then we see Agent Rex Dart is the one holding these keys, playing with Eddie, his nephew. But what Agent Dart doesn't notice is that down the hall behind him, the front door opens up and a swath of sunlight comes in, followed by pairs of legs after pairs of legs, black slacks, FBI jackets, who grab him by the arm, by the shoulder, drag him out the front door. His sister comes into the hall, looks at him being dragged away, looks at her baby boy, who's now crying, left alone in the rug. And finally, one more time, we cut to a dining room that we've never been in before. We see what looks like a woman in her 60s and what also looks like a man, judging by the likeness, who might be her son in his 20s. They're eating dinner, and behind them in the living room, the CNN's on. There's some kind of vague interview with the DHS spokesperson about, sounds like domestic terrorism rising in the Northwest. This is probably referencing an incident about a month ago, when suddenly, through the window of the dining room, the glass breaks, and we see a creature of arms and legs just spew right through the window into the dining room. And before any horrible things happen, the camera kind of pans out. We go back out into the street. We keep zooming backwards until we see the mailbox. We see the name Uli stenciled into it, and we just kind of keep zooming away until we go to black for the last time. And that is the end. Delta Green Viscid.
That was awesome. That was awesome, Jeff.
Yeah.
All right.
We're still alive, Megan.
You guys are still alive for now.
We utterly failed.
Oh my god.
Dart will be suffering he will be being prosecuted is basically what's going to happen because of the events in Washington is for sure what's going to happen. The rest of you are actually free from prosecution. See how it goes.
Necessarily free from anything else.
Yeah. Yep. That Amanda Griffin body turned into one, and you guys did get one. You did get one though. You did kill one. There were other people in that house though, but you did get one.
Oh, damn it!
They were hiding, but there were others. But it's okay. It's okay. Anyway, that is it. I'm sorry. Thank you for hanging out a little bit longer. I really do apologize. But we were so close. It didn't seem like it made sense to go any further. So yeah, that's Delta Green Viscid. Hopefully we'll be able to play some more Delta Green on Garblag in the future, maybe in 2022. But let's do a roundtable to end it off, and where everybody's at, plugs, that kind of stuff. Matt, sorry for killing your character again. I feel bad. I really do.
Tomorrow, Garblag Games at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, doing some Star Wars.
Very nice, very nice. Megan.
Napping for the holidays, making sure that I'm right and ready for all of the shenanigans that'll ensue.
Awesome. Aaron, you're next.
I will be also playing in the Star Wars game on Friday, the retired clone trooper ZX. And then next Tuesday, I believe we've got the great Garblag game show.
That's right.
Garblag North America representing.
I told Pete I'm just going to be there to look pretty. I'm going to let you two answer all the questions.
And then Wednesday, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition, Once Upon a Time in the Old World. If you tune in, you'll probably get to see my character, Hagen, the Knight of Ulrich, die. And then we're going to transition into a bit of a Christmas theme with his corpse, apparently.
Nice. Okay. Evan.
Yeah, I think I'll actually be MIA until the new year. I don't have any games going on now that we finish this.
Okay.
The new year,
All
whatever
right.
we decide to play next.
Right on. And Jeremy.
I mean, hang out with you guys in the near future. Some more UVG. That's always a good time.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile, if you're watching Delta Green, I assume you like occult investigation. So check out Black Blizzard on Kickstarter. Issue number 3 is underway, and I think you'll dig it.
Pendis Chengzu. This is Viscid. It's actually an older one. It's been around for a couple of years. I think it's Dennis Detweiler. I think he did it. He's the same guy who does the Impossible Landscapes, the campaign. We're running that too on my own channel. Okay. For me, Saturday, I'll be playing One Ring back on twitch.tv/lollygaggers. And then as Jeremy said, on Monday, playing some Ultraviolet Grasslands. And so then I'm on a little break for holidays. So, but that's what I got coming up. And I guess that's it, Matt. I guess we're done. We finished.
All right.
Delta Green is over.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Cheers.